Once again, we had our free golf day. So we don't know of anybody that does this in the daily fee world. So as everything else we try to do to give back to the community, on our birthday, we give the gifts out. So all our city residents that are registered with us as golfers, our space available basis can come in, have a free round of golf or a free lesson with our PGA coaches, or see the golf course and its brilliance in the springtime. So this past April 17th, we played over 124 free rounds of golf at no charge to those city residents, and we gave out over 18 golf lessons with our PGA professional staff. So we hope to continue to keep doing this and let everybody know to look forward to that each time April rolls around. We also hosted another prestigious championship again with the Palm Beach County Amateur. We've seemed to have kind of come to be the home of the Palm Beach County Amateur, with the roots going back to the West Palm Beach Country Club. This is now, I believe, our third championship, the second year in a row that we hosted that this past summer, and we look forward to hosting that again this coming summer. Another initiative that we have with our PGA golf professionals is a PGA Hope program. We graduated 32 Hope graduates. Hope, helping our patriots everywhere, is one of the largest initiatives of the PGA of America. We're one of the biggest chapters in Southeast Florida, South Florida section that hosts these opportunities for our veterans to come learn the game, and many times saves a life. And then something we're very happy about, it hasn't happened yet, but we do now have it confirmed, is we are going to be back on TV again next spring. So the 2026 PGA Reach Works Championship is coming to the park in May of 2026. It's a 54-hole stroke play championship. It showcases student athletes from historically black colleges, universities, Hispanic serving institutions, and any minority serving institutions. This is formerly a tournament that the PGA of America purchased several years ago and has turned it into a showcase for these young athletes. In addition to the 3 days of competition, the weekend before, they're giving back to the community, having youth clinics, opportunities for PGA Works fellows to come see the park. So there's a lot of activities to showcase both our facility, but also the good work that this organization does and that this tournament brings to the area. But once it comes game time, those 54 rounds are very competitive. They'll be on TV with the Golf Channel and NBC, and hopefully you'll be able to catch it. It'll also be free to attend. It will be a spectator event. So we'll give everybody information. We hope to have a large conglomerate of people out to see the competition. This is normally conducted in a resort kind of an atmosphere, so we think we're going to have one of the biggest fields or biggest attendances to see this event come spring. So more information to follow there. And of course, I have to let everybody know that as of May 2025, the park finally made it on the list. So we made our debut at number 89 on the Golf Digest Top 100 Public Golf Course list. This is a 2-year honor, so every 2 years they'll reassess. We anticipate staying on the list for quite some time and moving up the rankings from 89 to see how high we can get. It is the only public golf course in Palm Beach County on this list, and one of only 3 public golf courses, I believe, in the south area of Florida, with one on the west coast, and then, of course, the Stream Song golf courses. So this is a very, we knew we had this kind of a golf course, so now we have this moniker. So all of our emails and everything on the website, you'll see this, but we'll refer to the park now as Golf Digest Top 100.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
To share some statistics with you, not to bore you too much though, but a few of these we think stand out. Over the past year, we've played over 56,000 rounds of golf on the big course at the park. This does include 9-hole starts. In the afternoons, we do play 9 holes when the sunshine only allows you to play 9. So that's about 32,000 18-hole starts, and the rest are 9-hole starts, the way that breaks down. But that's about 4,000 more rounds than last year. Still, as you know, we're a very walking forward culture with our caddy program. 62% of these rounds were walking rounds of golf. That is all year round, even in the dog days of summer. South Florida does love to walk. We were insistent on that, and when we gave them a place to walk, the golfers definitely told us that they like to walk. And when we allow them to do that, the health benefits, just the nature and everything they see of the game is the way it was meant to be played. People really enjoy that. So we continue to keep that going forward with everything else and the initiatives that we do. As I mentioned before, for the free golf day, we had over 1,400 city residents register with us this year. for their preferred rates and tee times, being a City of West Palm Beach resident. That number continues to grow right now as we're getting into the season. So this kind of goes on a one-year basis based on when they sign up. So there's not really a start or finish to this number. So it fluctuates throughout the year as we get more people are starting to play golf. Now that it's cooling off a little bit, this number will basically grow as over the next few months. Again, as the players like to take caddies, we played over 12,000 caddied rounds in that period of time. So this past season and the last part of 2024, we put out 12,000 caddies, many of which are junior caddies, high school students nearby who make up our junior caddy program. But we employ upwards of 65 to 70 caddies in season. We had a goal to set out to be a successful caddy program. If we could play 6,000 rounds of caddied golf, we figured we were doing things right. And here in the third year, we've doubled that, and it's even a stronger program. It definitely makes the experience at the park very unique. The summer 9-hole leagues are as popular as ever. We kind of got caught off guard this past summer. We actually took our waiting list in our first week in May and had a second league on Thursday. So Wednesdays are our men's leagues, Tuesdays are our ladies' leagues. We filled up the entire golf course and then had enough to fill it up again on a second day at the beginning of the summer. But we average about 100 players for the guys on Wednesdays, and the ladies have crept up to about 40 from where they were about 20 every Tuesday a year ago. So the ladies' league continues to grow. And what this does is it gives us an opportunity to have other competitions throughout the year, some of which we'll talk about a little bit later, including the Park Championship, which sold out in 3 days from being launched online. So the first weekend in November, the Park Championship sold out. So come see the golf course, come play it on a Wednesday night. We can pair you up with somebody if you don't know anybody to play with, but it's a great time. It's just 9 holes, it's a scramble, and it's a lot of fun. Our partners, also our tenants, the South Florida section of the PGA on property, conducted 3 championships in the past 12 months, of which their 2 showcase events were both the men's and the women's section championships were in a 3-week span here just in September. And then they also had their season-ending junior tour championship, which they're going to conduct again this coming December. So best way to wrap up their seasons is to have it at their home of golf, which is obviously the park, and there were rave reviews by everybody that played in that competition. So we definitely will have those events back as well. And then the Lit 9, if you haven't played Under the Lights of Par 3, I challenge you to please come do that, even if you're not a golfer. The Lit 9 is meant for people who do not play necessarily or don't really want to play 18 holes. It's a lot of fun. It just takes a couple of clubs. We see kids of all ages, grandparents, parents, families, brothers and sisters, everybody. That has become a really popular place to go, not just on Friday nights, but any night, especially once the lights come on. So the Lit 9 kind of came out. I think people are starting to realize what it's there and how much fun it is. We played over 15,000 rounds there over the past month. I think we will double that in the next year with some of the things we're doing. We're adding tee boxes there. The music has kind of been picked up a little bit. We've added speakers. The cabana is getting even better than ever. But always to remember is kids are still free, 13 and under. So send the kids out, bring them out with the parents and play. We don't charge them, just dad or mom, and then have yourself a good half hour on the Par 3 course. We are up to now employing 274 people at the park over the past year. About 218 of them are active with us right now. Several will be coming back as we get into season. Coming from all different diverse backgrounds, ages, and everything. It is much larger than we all have anticipated with everybody that we have employed there, but being the operation that it is, 40% of those are West Palm Beach residents, which we're very proud of. 28% are females, which is very important in the golf industry and something that we're seeing continue to grow, both players as well as workers. Three of our 4 last new hires were all females. And then 15% are under the age of 18 at the various schools around the area. Half of those 15% are Forest Hill High School students. So we're very proud for what we've done with that high school and what they've been able to provide us, both in our caddies as well as in food and beverage and everywhere else, other aspects, even helping Dave out in the path. So that equates to over $5.8 million in wages supporting the local economy that we pay annually at the park. And then we also support over 38 now different West Palm Beach companies with everything that we do at the park. So definitely putting a footprint into the park for the local economy. And then everybody likes food, so those of us probably hungry. If you didn't make breakfast this morning, if you haven't been to the House Kitchen or Bar, I'm sure you've probably been to the Cabana, but Family Fun Fridays are still better than ever. The house is phenomenal. If you haven't eaten there, please come see it. The chef and his team, Lee, and everybody are doing a phenomenal job bringing creativity, changing the menu up, having the seasonal aspect to it, bringing a coastal seafood flair to it, which is something that's unique in this area. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely got a little bit for everybody, and we continue to see that grow. We've just recently employed a new sales person, so our small events and catering is definitely going to take off in the next year. Sorry, not really catering, but our small events are going to take off. We do have private dining space. It is filling up for Christmas parties, as you can imagine. And then what we're going to do to kick off the season here in a few weeks, I know everybody hopefully is aware of our Easter and Christmas festivities. We're going to have a fall festival to kind of kick off the season here before Halloween. So those will be our 3 primary community involved events where we do relatively free of charge for the Easter egg hunt to come see Santa Claus. And then we don't really know exactly how this fall festival is going to pan out. It'll probably have a little bit of a Halloween flair, a little bit of a football flair. We'll just see how it goes. We're going to obviously have some people come, and there's a rumor that it might be a pony ride for the kids. So definitely food and beverage. It's a neighborhood hang. It's really cool to see that place fill up, and it does fill up. And we do have valet parking now on Fridays, so come on out for that. But we look forward to seeing you. So with that, I will turn it over to Dave Andrews.
A couple questions,
Yeah.
Brian, before you get up there. Back to the HBCU event.
Yes.
How did that come about? How did we even get on their radar?
Through our PGA and Seth, basically. They've been trying to book that tournament out usually 3 or 4 years in advance. And I believe there was a site that didn't come through on a short notice. So they contacted, I was at a meeting in Frisco, I think, about 6 months ago, and they reached out, and we talked to Seth about it, and the gang being the executive committee, were all on board immediately. We tried to find a second course in the area. That was a little bit difficult to do. It's typically done on 2 golf courses with everything finalizing on 1. We weren't able to find another golf course, unfortunately, so this year the individual competition won't take place. It'll just strictly be for teams, but it is kind of still in season, so it was hard to find another golf course. But so that's okay. The park's going to shine. We're going to do a good job, and the teams that come out, the schools that do get to come, are going to enjoy it. So they definitely came through our PGA relationship. Great.
And just a comment, and I mentioned this at our board meeting, but I had an event recently. We had a new company coming to town, and I was in the green room, and the governor was there. And one of the first comments he made to me was how much he enjoyed the park, and was just raving about not only the park itself, but the model, what we're doing with the path, which we'll hear more about. And so clearly he was knowledgeable about what we're doing here. I know he's played it, I guess, a few times. But to get that kind of positive attention from the governor of this state in only our 3rd year is absolutely fantastic. Commissioner Ward, I think you...
Just a simple question. When's the fall event?
The 25th, I believe, is a Saturday. Saturday the 25th.
Any other questions before we move on?
And we'll have time at the end, too.
Okay, all right.
All right, good morning, guys. Dave Andrews, Director of The Path. I get to lead the education and community outreach here at the park. While we have a world-renowned golf course right now in West Palm Beach, inside the top 100, which is an accolade all by itself, we have a whole community impact, a community give-back arm to the park that most people don't know, and quite frankly, it is a one-of-one. So this is the unveiling of our impact report. So we operate in academic year. So we are in our 3rd full academic year. We did a partial year when we first opened up in 2023. So this is the metrics of our 2nd year. So it goes through last year, so to speak. Just pause on the cover a little bit. This is Evelyn. Evelyn is a 4th grader at South Olive Elementary. Evelyn has the golf bug. She's never played the game before in her life, life before coming to this program.
Never?
Never played this game before in her life. She was recommended because academically she was behind. Her parents were looking for something for her, and she was selected from the schools to be able to participate in this program. You can see there's not a smile more infectious than hers, and she is here at the park probably 3 to 4 days a week practicing. She's participated in PGA Junior League. She brings her own clubs. This year we furnished her 3rd set of clubs for her that are fit for her. Even though she's not growing a whole lot, she's wearing them out. And this year I had the opportunity to give her her first pair of golf shoes, which I'm not sure she doesn't ever take off. And so that is Evelyn, and she's a shining star in the path. I won't get into all of this for sure, but obviously I know some of us might be visual learners, so I know that pictures mean 1,000 words, and we'll have these printed, actually delivered today. Unfortunately, not by this meeting, but this is the path. For us, the path hasn't changed. Our goal is to positively impact lives. We want to proverbially take kids off the proverbial path in life, and we want to bring them back on. That is in life and in golf. There's a path for everyone. That doesn't mean it's in the fairway and it's on the green and you can make the putt. That's not how life works, as we know. So we want to take kids that are not in the fairway, take kids that need us, the kids that really need our arms around them to be able to succeed in life. And we do that through education, mentorship, and life skills development. Oh, and we also introduce them to the game of golf. But why we did this, we built this program as you may know from last year, or for those who have listened to me speak before, there's a need. And that need in West Palm Beach continues to grow. And before we opened the park, I knocked on the doors. I reached out to everybody I possibly could to figure out what we could do. What could we do to serve this community? And the need came out as very much being that there's a need of education. 47% of our kids are not scoring at grade level. And so if you let that sink in, about half the kids, so if you look in a classroom, half those kids in a classroom are not where they need to be. And that's hard. That's hard for us as a society to look back and think, where have we gone wrong? What can we do more? What do we need to be able to do to move these kids forward? And that's where programs like this and other programs will be created down the line are here to help. You can see the schools that are in our surrounding 5 miles from South Olive, Palmetto, Belvedere, Coniston, and Forest Hill. You can see their school grade. You can see where they're scoring. They're having a hard time. There's no doubt. I mean, just around us, and we can expand and extrapolate that even further, and those statistics match. And so that's where the path comes in. Oh, I went all the way back. Good thing we're going here. What we're doing at the path is we build these programs. I'm going to get into those programs and speed up a little bit for you, but I want to pause here for a second. We have what we consider a term called community investment. And so all of our programs are completely complementary. There's not a single dollar exchanged to any of our kids in our programs. They are selected from the schools, from the guidance counselors to the assistant principals to the principals, ESE coordinators. We sort need-based kids. We want the kids that need it the most. We don't want the kids that can afford it. We want the kids that need it. And so we find a way to bring those kids in, and we keep them for the entire academic year. And the entire time, last year, we offered 135 scholarships to 95 kids. Some kids were a recipient of multiple scholarships for our programs, and we maintained a ratio of 84% of retention throughout the entire calendar year. Academic year, that is. Now, that's a free-based program. Kids have other opportunities. They have other commitments. They have other things to do. So at 84% of these kids showing up every time that they're here, that's pretty remarkable if you ask me. We employ 9 part-time Palm Beach County teachers. We don't do this for the volunteers. We bring in the big dogs. We bring in the people that are sourced from the exact schools that we have, and we want to find the best teachers out there because we are committed to excellence, and we want to make sure educationally they get to where they belong. In addition, we have 7 ACE Academy interns, and part of our programs that we have, it's a high school program, so we give back to these kids with their first jobs, and they actually help us out and get to be a part of the path, the food and beverage, golf course, agronomy, and so forth. As we break down what does this look like, what does this cost? What if these kids had to pay for these programs? Like, what would it be? That comes out to over $2 million. We factored it in. We put a ratio into it, every single category, every single kid, every single program that what we have. We've given out over $2 million. That's per year. That's not actually since we've been open, which comes out to an investment of $21,000 per kid. If you told me that somebody's going to give my kid $21,000 to invest it in their education, my hand would be up. I'd be waiting at the door. And indeed, we have a waiting list because this program is making those marks. The breakdown, so forth, as you can see in the certain areas, I won't get into that. I will get into some of our programs. One of our main programs is called Fairway Finders. Fairway Finders is an educational outreach program that is split between a golf coach and 2 to 3 educators in a classroom. We bring these kids in 4 days a week, 2 hours a day, and we get their homework done. The bare minimum, they leave with their homework done. Anybody has a parent in the room would say, man, if I can pick my kid up and their homework is done, what's that going to give back to us in the rest of the day? That family time is back. That ability to be with others is back. And so as you can see from the picture, that's exactly what it looks like. That's a real picture. That's not how we're not trying to make that up. Last year, we had 65 full scholarships that were offered to that program. Right now, we are near 63 already in our 3rd academic year. Our goal this year is 72 to maintain our ratios of 1 to 12. We've been able to maintain that throughout the entire throughout the program. And our demographics are very similar, highlighting by 64% female. And man, in the game of golf, I am so proud of that number because seeing girls come out and participate in golf for the first time, and last year seeing Forest Hills golf team come out and mostly girls come out to tryouts. I mean, that is just a change in demographic that we're seeing in golf that I'm so proud of. It is so fun to see that, and they are absolutely loving it. We did show a 30% growth year to year. I know we're going to be pushing at the walls that we possibly can and maybe asking Mayor for that variance for the expand the building a little bit, but that'll come here soon for sure. What we were asked a couple years ago is the question, does it work? And I think that's a question that we should ask every single thing that we do. And at the park, we have metrics that allow us to kind of measure golf. And in this case, we're measuring academic growth. We take the testing scores of the kids that come into our program. We bring those testing scores to our teachers so we know exactly where they're at 3 different times a year. Those are statewide metrics. 95% of our kids showed academic improvement last year. 96 was the year before. So maintaining a 95, 96% in the first 2 years of actually measuring that program, I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't know another program that does that.
Please toot it.
I don't know. I really don't. 99% of those kids showed an improvement in math. And statistically speaking, if you can excel at math, you'll excel at life. It's a very simple metric. And for us, like 99% of our kids showed an increase in math. That is unbelievable. And 71% of our kids by the end of the year, the academic year, were at grade level. If we go back to that number, that 47% that are not at grade level, and 71% of our kids are by the end of the program.
Dave, talk about how the kids come to the program. We don't cherry pick. Can you talk about that?
No, so we have partnerships with the elementaries that are in the surrounding area, as well as an application process. And so in the surrounding schools that are surrounding us, we work with the principals, ESE coordinators, APs, and guidance counselors, and we seek and sort out kids that need us the most. We factor everything in: household income, grades, statement of needs. Right? We want to make sure that these kids come to us that aren't able to apply for this program. This isn't a program that you can look online, I'm going to apply for it because I want to get my kids some free golf lessons. I get asked that a good bit for sure. That's not how it works. To find the right kids, you got to source them. It's a who you know game. And this year we have opened it up to other schools that are northbound from us to be able to expand. And we've had one kid and part of that process that has been a part of our program. We do believe that that's going to continue to grow, obviously with some transportation opportunities opportunities. So the kids that we come into us are either all at or below grade level, or they are very close to or substantially below. I think I shared last time one of the metrics of one of our kids who grew 180 points in math and never made it out of their grade at that level. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is at grade level. This kid was a 1 and had 180 point improvement in their scores and never made it out of a 1. So that kid basically got a 3 on their score and could not get to the next level. We're taking those kids, and 71% of those kids, we're improving them. We measured golf for the first time this year. Super fun metric. 8 of our kids got full scholarships to PGA Junior League, which is their first competitive experience, including Miss Evelyn. 75% of those kids are now U.S. Kids Certified Level 1 putters, and 59% are Level 1 drivers. So it's fun to have a little education metric or golf metric in there in addition to the education.
And most of these kids have not been golfers before, right?
No, 100% of them were not when we first started the program, because we do have some repeat participants. We can't say that anymore because they are obviously have golf experience now. But I would say still 100% of the kids coming into our program that are new have never been exposed to the game of golf before. I'll go through this a little bit. I'll pause here for a second. What parents are saying, I'm not going to hit this because I have a different story for you. But in this particular metric, we talked about, what the parents are saying, and we have a parent evaluation that goes out twice a year. But 2 weeks ago, Dr. Venning, South Olive principal, some of you may or may not know her, she came to us and she said, hey, I'm worried about the program. And I was like, man, what can we do? Why are you worried about the program? And she says, I'm worried that I'm not going to be a Title I kid school anymore.
Wow.
And I said, well, that's great. And she goes, I don't want to be in danger of losing the path, because the path is what got us to this spot. And I said, pause for a second, flip the funnel. Because of the path, your kids now have a better opportunity. You're no longer a Title I school. Why would I leave you out there if I've got you this far? And I think that we have to look at this program as it's a whole picture. Whether these kids are coming to South Olive from different schools now, kids that are part of that program, part of Palmetto, part of Belvedere, that are seeing these results. If by the end of this year, South Olive is not a Title I school anymore, we've won.
Yes.
We've done everything that we could to take 60-some kids from that school and improve them academically and give these kids the best chance to succeed. There's not a parent out here that's not going to give us that statistic or whatever that report that may be needed that's going to outweigh a principal who's coming to us going, I don't know what I would have done without you. And they were the first school that banged on our trailer before the golf course was built. So it is a highlight for us for sure. I'll get into this a little bit. Fairway Futures launched this year. It's a middle school program bridging the gap between an elementary school program and a high school program. These are for kids who are interested in developing golf, but also including this program is financial literacy, business management. So we're setting these kids up for success. They will learn how to trade stocks and bonds. That's one of the #1 things that middle schoolers want to learn nowadays, which I think is super cool. And we're waiting. Maybe. Uh-oh.
You have any IT people here?
All right. Here we are. ACE Academy. So as we said, we have an elementary school program, Fairway Finders middle school program, Fairway Futures. ACE Academy is our paid internship. So these kids get to come to us and get their first job. These are real students helping out. They're in the classroom with the kids. They're working in food and beverage, golf operations, golf agronomy. Highlighted there is Grant Bechtold. Grant presented at our board meeting, if you guys remember, participated in it last year. Grant was on the track of not completing high school because his brother didn't complete high school. He knew no different. His parents are separated, live on either side of the coast. He kind of meandered around to figure out, failed out at a couple different schools. And Grant found us because of a a parking incident. For those who are in the parking industry, he parked in our parking lot and was walking to school, and I happened to catch him that day. And I told him that he could no longer park here, and he proceeded to tell me that he didn't know where to go, and he's already had 3 parking tickets of about $200. And I asked him what he wants to do with his life, and he says, "Gosh, I have no idea." And I asked him if he was ever interested in working in the golf course or anything else, and he came the next day, and he applied, and he came and brought friends. Grant was with us for 2 years, and the year that we got him the most focus, so to speak, he increased his grade point average by 0.5 and his SATs by 150 points, making him not only graduate college, but he's now at the Carls of Charleston working in hospitality management and studying abroad for his first year right now. And so Grant's going to come back and give back. So a question you'll ask is, what do you do for the northbound? What do you do for Middle, Central, West Palm Beach? What do you do? Well, we make the park mobile through Mobile Snag. Last year, 3,100 kids were a part of our Mobile Snag program at 10 schools. We've continued to get this program grant funded, so I know that number is going to be tipping on probably close to 5,000 this year, maybe up into the 15s. We take over their PE programs for the day. We introduce the game of golf and really, encourage new learners. It's a super fun program. And the rest, I'll move forward till we get to the end. We have art, we have STEM. We did an art show last year. These are actual art projects and STEM projects that we did. Art and STEM kind of dying in some of the schools, so finding ways to be able to revitalize it and give the resources it needs and have kids come there, not just for a golf program or education program, for something fun. We are super excited to see that and to see it grow. And I think not quite lastly, but very close to lastly, is we recognized there was a need in summer camp. And 2 years ago, we didn't offer it the way we wanted to. Last year, we offered it about 30-some kids. This year was 42 full scholarships, fully funded by one of our donors for the next 5 years. And so we had 42 full scholarships offered, and we went all over West Palm Beach. And in partnership with Gaines Park, we provided free swim lessons for these kids. We gave them a summer of a lifetime. Took them around to all the different areas they could be, taught them more golf than they probably ever wanted, played kickball, dodgeball. We had a lot of fun. And these kids, these are real kids that I'm not sure where would they be. They'd probably be on the couch and with an iPad or some sort of device in the summer. And instead, they were with us for 7 hours a day, almost all summer long.
Dave, don't go through that too quickly.
Sorry, sir?
You had a donor who paid for 42 scholarships for 5 years.
That is correct. We had a donor funded $100,000 a year for 5 years, and I think that well will never be dry.
Wow, that is
because they want to make sure that every kid deserves that chance. So it makes my job easy. I worked for the YMCA for about 14 years, and you figured out how to you get summer camp by with what little you have. We don't have that opportunity here. We can make it the most.
I think it costs a kid to do this summer camp program?
Right now, I mean, in upwards of anywhere between $500 to $800 a week would be summer camp costs. In today's day and age, it could exceed that.
Wow.
On the cheaper end, you're looking at $300 to $400. For our particular camp with the excursions, we provide all the food, all the clothes, all the equipment, all the transportation, everything. We're looking at, our cost of that is over $100,000. So I would say if you divide that out, I mean what they could pay into that, you're probably $200,000 to $300,000, which you see in a normalized revenue. So it's one of my most stressful moments of the year because I participate in all the activities on the risk standpoint. But it's also one of the most rewarding parts because you get to see it. This little girl in the bottom left, super scared of water. That's day 3 in the pool. Her mom emailed me the night before day 1, says she wants to stand out. She doesn't want to go in the water. Please don't make her go in the water. Let her be on the side of the water while everybody else gets in and does swim lessons. This is the 3rd day. Wow. So we're changing lives more so than I think that even I see, even though I'm indebted to this program. We're making moves in ways that we've never had before. The girl on the right, afraid of heights. Probably wouldn't see that, would you? So all the things that we're doing here are more than golf. They're more than life. They're truly changing the lives of the next generation. As I close, we do things for the community, as Brian said. Easter egg hunt. We estimated anywhere between 500 and 600 people came out for the Easter egg hunt. That number continues to grow. Christmas, it was an incredible Christmas. We did sleigh rides for the community. All of our kids in our program have a special Christmas gift that comes to them every year from our donors, and they're able to basically shop for their entire Christmas list on there. And so that's not included on there. We keep that very secret because we don't want them to know about it, nor do they want them to be able to see where it might come from. But Family Fun Friday, Forest Hill has a golf program because of our work with the park, and also community service. So questions so far before we close?
First of all, that report will be distributed to each of us?
Yes.
You said later today?
Yep, I can send it. It's actually on it's online right now.
Okay.
The Park West Palm /the path.
Say that again because this is being taped, so maybe people watching this and.
Absolutely. The parkwestpalm.com /the path, and you'll see an opportunity in the bottom. You'll see whether our impact, but we'll share this out with you guys, and you can distribute it as such, and there'll be a physical copy also in hand this afternoon.
All right, I'm not going to say any more. Commissioner Warren and then Commissioner Ward.
I just want to say outstanding job. And, you know, when you showed the kids in the pictures and the little girl in the pool and her mother said, maybe she can stand out. This is overcoming generational norms and things that people haven't been exposed to, things that kids have never seen, and kind of the fears of their families or things that have held them back, they've been able to have exposure to. And I think that's a true benefit of this program.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, astounding job, guys. I really appreciate it, and I think the data speaks for itself. I'm kind of at a loss for words, and it's almost sad that we don't have more of this, because you guys are proving how easy it can be if you have the funds in the community, and we do have the funds in this community. And so I guess my biggest question is, how is the district responding to this? How's the school board responding to this? Because again, we go back to, we do have money in this community. We do have a path forward to make changes. How can we expand upon this, and what's the district response to some of the stuff you guys are doing?
So there's not much, to be honest. We're a district partner, and I mean, when we had Palmetto changed their principals this year. Mr. Moya moved to a different school, and we had a new principal come in. And when she came into our program, when she first started, we brought in the coordinators and everybody, and I gave her that data before it was published and the previous data, and she sat there and listened of us present, and she kept looking at the piece of paper, and she is this real? And I'm like, it absolutely is. Is this my kids? And I said, yes, ma'am, it absolutely is your kids. This is how much they've improved. And I broke it down on almost every single kid, math, reading, everything. And she goes, right here at a golf course. I said, yes, ma'am. And she couldn't get over it. She goes, why didn't I know about this before? And I was like, it's not out there. It's not in a way that I wish that the district could wrap their mind around it and figure out ways to make this happen. We've had some conversations about expanding to some schools that have had extra space. Of course, now with a number of the schools having enrollment down, free up some classrooms. And so figuring out ways that we might be able to expand in some of those areas is on the forefront for us. Looking for a second site, for sure, isn't as easy as you think with the cost of real estate in this county. But that is an area that we've also looked to expand as well. You know, golf aside, golf doesn't change your life. You know, giving a kid back to grade level will change their life forever, and empowering them and believing in them. And so figuring out ways to get there, I think, is something that we'll always be challenged with, and I would love for the opportunity to, you know, take this district wide.
Follow up.
golf can change life. I think the little girl in the beginning of your speech would say otherwise. But I get your point, because it's few and far between the other programs, and I think it's, again, coming back to us and sharing this, I'm very grateful, and it kind of pushes me to say again, okay, I want this in the North End, I want this in other areas. I think there's a lot of programs that are working towards this, but a concerted effort, and I think it's on us to really hold our other elected officials and people that are representatives at the county level responsible, because this is great work that the city's doing, and they should follow suit.
If I may, I missed it, but on the community outreach side, we partner with Pleasant City Empowerment, and Pleasant City Empowerment brings in a group. They actually go and get the kids. And that's one of, when a bus comes to your house to the kids that didn't come to the rec center, that comes and bring them in. And we have a tutor and a mentor that works with them to kind of preach to them on life lessons. And introduce them to the game of golf for sure. But that number has grown to about 15 to 20 a week, where it started at about 5 or 6. And so we're starting to see some things that we're like, man, this is working. Let's figure out to put another spot.
Awesome, thanks.
President Lambert.
Thank you so much. I'm always excited every year when you come and give this presentation, because I remember the very difficult decision we made, 6, 7 years ago to close down this golf course, and hearing from the residents who were very upset that we closed it, but knowing that we had a vision for what was going to happen, that and you all have executed that vision beautifully, where this is more than just a golf facility. You all have really woven yourself into the fabric of our community, and I'm excited to hear other commissioners say that we want to expand this. It was interesting to me to see how the community came forward in funding this golf park, and I think that that's something that's missing in some other programs. Is this donor who gave $500,000 for summer camp, and what you're saying is your experience with other summer programs didn't have those kinds of donors, and so whatever we can do to help support that, count us in. I had a number of questions here about neighborhood engagement, jobs, the economy, but you answered all of those, so thank you for that. I guess you did touch on, and I know we've talked about other infrastructure needs that you have, and I look forward to you presenting that when the time is right, and talking about what else we can do from our end to help support your growth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, commissioners, and I think many of you were on the commission when we had to make, I think, another courageous decision, which was not make it a competitive process, to give PGA an exclusive. And as you know, most of the time we have to do RFPs and that type of thing. And we had done RFPs after we closed the golf course down. And those RFPs, or the winners of the RFPs, could not raise the money, and they were talking about putting condos up and et cetera. Anyway, so one of the first decisions I had to make after becoming mayor was to recommend to the commission at that time that we enter into this exclusive relationship with PGA. They were confident they could raise the money, but they did not want to go through a competitive process. From a political standpoint, it was not an easy decision to do. So as we look back, it was the right decision to do. And Brian, Dave, you guys, I wish Seth was here, you guys can tell me, most of the funds were raised by people who weren't looking for another golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't put a number on it. I would say 90% of the funds were to do this.
Yes, exactly.
We do have founders who use the golf course and they play the golf course, but I think you've said it many times, they're already members somewhere. They have their home club. So this is definitely for the right purpose. There's the only reason it worked. If we were just selling pseudo memberships, this wouldn't have worked. There would have been we would have been a club. These kids wouldn't have the environment they have to do this. So yeah, it was for this purpose.
And so this is the proof of the pudding. I mean, this is you guys are producing the results that those founders were looking for when they made the decision to invest in our very rundown, very underutilized, very under-resourced municipal golf course. You're changing lives. You brought new life to this tremendous city asset, and it's even more of an asset now than it was before. Any other questions, comments? And yes, I made it through without shedding a tear. Thank you.
No, I saw a little teary
No,
eye.
that's the allergies again, people. All right, well, listen, Brian, Dave, thank you all so much. It's great that we have this information available to those who may be listening. It'll be available to us. It's available online. I'll make sure that I publicize the link in my communications that I send out every week. But this is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, while they're setting up, Discover the Palm Beaches. Commissioners, there's food in the back if you're interested. Like good food.
Dude, I promise you I'm gonna hit this and it's going that way no matter what. Get a fade right here.
Yeah, this time.
But at least know it's not like break, like I can leave my house or screw it. Just like this one into there. But I just feel like I gotta take too much. I'll go with it. That was a great thing.
They love it. Kids are the berries, but that's nice. The kids are really fun too. I think it's better.
I was actually out there watching it. Yeah. There's just a little engagement, super cute. And she's like, no, we're going in. How does Joe get on these cruises? Like, where do they come from? Like, Joe and his cruises.
I know. I thought that was hysterical.
Okay. I know. No, exactly.
Yeah.
I think for me, like short. For me, I just want to, I want to get better. I think.
I tried Pub Belly this weekend.
How was it?
It was good. It was good.
I mean, people
I'd gotten
say,
mixed
why do
re-
we have so much sushi? And I'm like, I don't think we have that much sushi at all.
We do.
I don't either.
Plus, it's like
Like,
it's
the
not
other places are
traditional. There's a place that's been there forever. Oh my gosh.
But it's like Thai.
Yeah. And it has sushi with it.
Exactly, it has to. Okay, so this is like actual traditional sushi, or is it like
No, no,
modern
no.
sushi?
It's a mix. Like with the rest of them, it's a mixture, but it's good.
I'll have to check it out.
I mean, in reality, we have a lot of Hispanic places too, but I mean, there's some variety in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw an ad for this new place that's opening at the corner. I mean, don't even remember what it used to be. It's like kind of right next to. It's on the end of the block where Pioneer Linens is, and it was like an upstairs downstairs spot.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, that was like the bar there. That was
It's been
like
a long
bar
time
for a
since
while.
it's been open.
It was at Don Ramon's a long time ago.
Not Don. Oh wait, not Don Ramon's. It was on the corner of.
I thought they had the walk-up window with the croquetas. I think you.
Okay, I'm talking about the one that's closer to the waterfront. Like,
Didn't they have on that
Yeah.
side there? They had it.
Yeah, it was at Don Ramon's a long time ago.
I don't think they had the whole space though.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. But I do remember because they had the walk-up window if you wanted to get something quick there.
we're talking about it was like an upstairs downstairs.
Yeah.
Across from where the fountain is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not remember it being Don Ramon's,
Yeah.
but I remember it being a lot of like other
Right.
Random bars.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember the name of this place, but I took a screenshot of it
I
because
don't
it looks
get why
so
they
cool
can't make that
inside.
work.
No, it was like, I mean, I hope this is the time. Okay, it's called Mystic Table. It's like this cool spot. Look at what it looks
Oh, I saw that ad too. They're doing a lot of ads.
Just it looks very like, and they're gonna have music. I'll have to send it to you because I feel like it's a place for like it looks like an upscale kind of. Hopefully it's price. I don't know.
Exciting. I keep waiting for Waxon's to open, and it just still sits there with the.
Which one? World of Beer?
Yeah,
World of
we're
Beer's
trying to
fun.
expedite some of the permitting stuff on that. I met with the owners of the property and we're working on it, yeah.
Yeah, so they are still gonna. Because I heard that, like, I heard rumors. Everyone's rumors.
No, they want to get open. No, we're trying to get them through there.
Popular. We're ready. Donald Ross.
Okay.
They're not understanding
Sorry, Sir Joe, we got some hungry people here. My bad. I probably shouldn't have let everybody go.
I know you told us.
Yeah. Let us return to, we're going to bring the meeting back to order. Let us return to the second item on the agenda. Again, my apologies to Discover the Palm Beaches. I'm going to apologize twice. One is you had to wait for us to get food, but secondly, you got to follow that presentation. So it's all in timing. But we're looking forward to the great news that you all have to share with us. So without any further ado, Sergio, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not sure if we can top the park presentation, but needless to say, they're one of our official partners, and we're happy to be partners with them.
Excellent.
And we're absolutely happy that they're in our city here. So kudos to them. Incredible stuff. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, city staff, to the entire police department here, I guess. But no, thank you for protecting and serving our city. It's good to be back among friends, good friends. And I'm always glad to say that I'm a resident of West Palm Beach. And this is, as we say, our capital city, and we like to continue our partnership. We have some good news to report as we get into our presentation. One of the things I want to kind of start with is that new perspectives, and this is something my colleagues are going to get into, but destination stewardship is a new way of thinking things. The way we see it, that tourism and Discover the Palm Beaches helps ignite the economy, that it supports businesses, expands investment, and encourages the protection of our natural areas, whether it's grassy waters, Opoe, or a fine park system. It's all part of the equation. And that we, as an agency and as an organization, our partners, and the tourism industry, what we want to do is we're focused on creating a better community. And yes, we still are a tourism promotion agency, and I think you're going to recognize how good we're doing that. I should also say that the story is West Palm Beach. This is the center of the thing, you might say, of our story. And I should say that you're going to be featured very highly in our city collection campaign as we go into 2026. A city collection will highlight our major tourism hubs, and of course, West Palm Beach is going to be at the center of that story. And I should recognize a couple of people here. Portia Holt, who sits in one of our marketing advisory committees. Amanda Fana's been in a few of our committees also. Commissioner Lambert sits on the Tourist Development Council. So West Palm Beach, if anything, is well represented. across the tourism spectrum. And of course, upcoming, last year we had a very successful first in Ammonia Summit, the Wellness Summit happened at the Convention Center. If you see that again in November, you'll probably see quite a few healthy looking people, much healthier than I am probably. And then when we speak of creating our natural and protecting our natural beauty, Lagoon Fest is coming, another event we do, and we will be there also supporting our city events. Congratulations on kicking off yet another good, fantastic green market. I wasn't able to be there on Saturday, but I'll be at the next ones down the road. We'll be there for city events. And of course, we just took a tour of Nora just a few weeks ago. I think that's going to be a fantastic new centerpiece. Just adds to the story. And then when Curry Park comes on board, we look forward to that, and then more. If anything, the city keeps growing the story. So the book doesn't close. It just adds. So, and then as we're working together to promote this story, I should note that West Palm Beach, your website, visit WPB.org, is being showcased to our certified tourism ambassadors as a resource for all things West Palm Beach. Congratulations on keeping that site as beautiful and informative as it is. And together, through some work that Portia and our marketing team are doing together, we're doing an advertising campaign through USA Today, starting about this month, moving into the season. And then also in our Instagram feed, we're kind of highlighting that same visitor website, the microsite you have via your site through your hashtags. So I think that, like I said, the story never ends with West Palm Beach, and it's a good story to tell. So let's see how the numbers are doing. Let me bring up my esteemed colleague, Gustav.
Thank you, Sergio. Good morning. I'm Gustav Weibel. I'm the SVP of Research at Discover.
Morning.
And I did some field research. I was at the park on Easter, and I did the Easter egg hunt with my family. So it's an incredible asset for the community. This is the third year we've been here presenting the numbers, and the numbers keep getting better. And I want to kind of highlight that with where we left off from the last presentation. You can see on this slide, this is hotel performance, the growth. We look at downtown West Palm Beach. We look at downtown plus the airport hotels performance, and we have the county overall performance in there. And July, August, September, you can see those double-digit, 36% growth in hotel performance in downtown West Palm Beach. It was a record year for the convention center, and you can see coming off of that, there was a lot of positive activity in the fourth quarter, huge growth for not just the city of West Palm Beach, but for also the Palm Beaches, and then steady growth for the from January all the way through the spring. And there was some solid growth late spring or into the summer with the convention center. You see the July, August numbers. You see those numbers are down, but if you look, I just mentioned that those double-digit growths in there. It's hard to repeat some of those home runs that were hit at the convention center over that period. As Sergio mentioned with the city campaign, we look at every city here. We have geo-fenced the cities and where visitors are coming from. And from there, we have some segmentation data in there. And so this is Palm Beach County on the far left, and then West Palm Beach, and then all the other cities. We know the kinds of visitors are coming to all of our cities, so the city campaign is going to be really specifically targeted to those individuals and the kinds of cities and communities they want to visit in there. Palm Beach County has the power elite as the #1 demographic in there. West Palm Beach has a good share of that, but there's other markets in there that aren't just power elite in here. And we're going to go into this next slide to really show it's more of a diverse visitor demographic than other communities in there. So suburban style is actually the first one, then booming with confidence, and singles and starters, and then power elite that comes in #4. They're all pretty close in there, around 10%. What does that really mean? This is a chart of what these segments really look like. And you have high incomes, middle incomes, higher ages, younger ages in there. So it's kind of the gambit of all the different demographics in there that make up the community. And the city campaign is going to be targeted specifically for each city based on these visitor compositions.
Quick question, President Lambert.
Thank you. Do you mind going back like 3 or 4 slides when you had the comparison to the other cities and maybe just kind of describe this to us a little bit more?
Yeah, so this is just to show that we've been looking at really just Palm Beach County as what's the visitor makeup for Palm Beach County. And we understand that every community is a little different. They have different amenities, different things that are attractive to different kinds of individuals in there. So now we've really taken that down. Now that we're going to target messaging for specific cities to really drill down who are coming into these cities and how can we have the right messaging, the right things that they're interested in to draw more visitors in there.
And so the percentage on the left, that's percentage of each city's total visitors, not percentage of visitors overall.
Right, so for each city, what makes up in there, so that Power Elite, you can see that blue one, that first one is in Jupiter, Palm Beach, the island of Palm Beach Gardens, they're really heavily in there, so most of their visitors are in those demographics. So you see West Palm Beach as a more diverse and even kind of demographic.
Great, thank you.
Will this deck be available? Can we get that sent to the commissioners?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Going back into hotel performance, so this is downtown West Palm Beach plus the airports around PBI. This is how they performed so far from January through August. Strong growth in there. Room night revenue up 5%, room nights sold up 2.5%. What's that mean from the metrics from a hotelier perspective? Last 12 months, 77% occupancy, up from 75%. Now, the fourth quarter was really strong from October, November, December, so that probably going to kind of taper off. We won't hit those same, that success, if you will. There was a lot of activity that happened at the convention center last minute that probably won't repeat. This is where the convention center stands. I brought this. Last year, I updated the numbers in there. I said that in 24, it was a record year, 65,000 room nights at the convention center. So we're at 66,000, so we're just hanging in there, holding into that. That seems to be with the maximum amount of room nights that we can produce with the current environment in there without an additional hotel inventory to have attendees stay at. That generates $17 million in lodging revenue for the hotels downtown. $11 million in food and beverage. And that's not just at the convention center, but at the City Place and Clematis Street, and $2 million in recreation. Resident sentiment. So this is something that we monitor every single year. We survey all residents in Palm Beach County. We ask where they reside. So this is pulling out those that say that they live in West Palm Beach. And there, one thing I think that's really important to call out in here, what's changed, quality of life has significantly improved, and this is in tandem with record tourism performance. So they're seeing that all that activity and the benefit of visitors and the entertainment and options and things that are available in the community because of that. And also well-paying jobs has also increased, and there's 74% of residents believe that tourism creates well-paying jobs. And the last thing I want to close here is with the tourism master plan. So this has been a year-and-a-half process. We've been going out to the community, having lots of community engagement surveys, interviews. We're now at the point where we have 50 recommendations across these 9 categories that you see on the board here. The next steps, the TDC is going to approve this plan, and it's going to go to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. So that should happen by the end of this year, and we'll be going into 26 with a full tourism master plan laid out for the county. And I'm going to hand it over to Heather Andrews.
Good morning, everyone. So really for us in closing, one of the main things that we're really focusing on this year and starting to talk to a lot of our partners about is really how the Palm Beaches has evolved, really from just this place that people had heard about via advertising, and that we've really now become a world-class travel brand that is now recognizable throughout the globe. We are laying the foundation overall from the Palm Beaches to grow as a premier hub for business, culture, culture, lifestyle, and social and economic development. And really, again, why we say that is that hospitality and tourism sits at the core of that, and the core of being able to provide all of this balance of visitor and resident lifestyle for us and to pursue our aspirations. And that if we have any dip in visitation, it does start to ripple effect across all of the economy. So really, the core and the foundation of all of the things that have allowed a lot of the prosperity for West Palm Beach and throughout Palm Beach County sits at the heart of hospitality and tourism. So we really are trying to bring out the message even more that destination promotion works, it's important, and it does bring that balance and well-being across the landscape of our county overall. As we talked about as well, we're going to continue to evolve our role as an organization, really moving away just from focusing on marketing and sales and talking within our industry. We then evolved to building our brand, but now we're really, again, as Sergio started the presentation, talking about this stewardship of the brand overall, finding that balance for our visitors and for our residents, and elevating our residents in the process. Gustav talked a lot about that resident survey. We really want to sit carefully within that sentiment and really gauge where that point is for our residents and understanding that jobs, that quality of place and quality of life. So you'll see us doing a lot more when it comes to our Love the Palm Beaches campaign year round as we move into 2026 in supporting and building that tourism brand overall. We're also going to build, raise awareness for our career opportunities. We have a 3-day job fair coming up on October 14th through the 16th. We'll actually be at the Palm Beach County Convention Center on one of those days on Wednesday the 15th. We'll have over 40 employers in the hospitality and tourism realm that will be looking for employees. So we're working with Related Ross, especially within a lot of the districts here in the city to promote the job fair. So you'll see a lot of yard signs and banners and door knockers that have gone up to encourage people to come to that job fair. So we're very excited. Last year we had over 800 job seekers over 2 days. So we're hoping to eclipse that number this year, and we're excited to be right here in the heart of West Palm Beach at the Convention Center. We also have our brand new Certified Tourism Ambassador program that we launched in December of this past year. Portia is one of our Certified Tourism Ambassadors, so we're very excited. She's gone through curriculum that certified her across the organization in customer service, the brand, and the destination. So very excited that we have over 400 people that are helping to on the front line of our employees for our hotels, our restaurants, attractions, but also our realtors are taking this as well, ensuring that welcoming environment for all when they come into the Palm Beaches. So we look forward to expanding that. Also, we have our own path, which is our professions across tourism and hospitality. We work very closely within the high schools, talking about hospitality and tourism jobs and career pipelines for them. This year, we've been working closely with a brand new program that we'll be launching with the Convention Center, which is our Rising Chefs Challenge that we'll be having in February. So we'll have 5 schools that have culinary programs. They'll be competing for our trophy and to be the ultimate champion of that. So we're very excited for that. We do work very closely with Forest Hill High School as well. They have a hospitality, tourism, and culinary. We sit on their advisory board and work with them on a lot of the opportunities that we have, and we know that they're going to be participating in the Chef's Challenge as well. So I know that was a lot of information in a short period of time, but we appreciate your partnership. We enjoy working with Portia and all of the things that you all have going on in the city, and we are open for any additional questions that you have.
Well, thank you for presenting that information. I love seeing the data and the progress we're making, and I also like hearing about kind of the evolution of your perception of tourism and some of the ancillary benefits of tourism, and how do we, what is it, destination stewardship, how do we really build upon the image of West Palm Beach, Palm Beach County, Palm Beach County as a preferred destination, and truly appreciate your partnership as well. Portia has talked to me about how it's a hand-in-glove relationship between what she's doing on behalf of the city and it's very collaborative. So thank you. Any questions, comments, commissioners? President Lambert?
Thank you so much. Do you mind just briefly giving an overview for those watching at home about the funding and how you all are funded for this? And then if you can speak to, how much of that impacts West Palm Beach?
Yeah, so we are funded through a 6% bed tax. So that is a tax that individuals who stay at a hotel pay overall. So it is not a tax that is incurred by the residents. Those dollars are then pooled and aggregated by the tax collector. In our last fiscal year that ended, we were at $84.6 million that was then allocated across the agencies. Discover the Palm Beaches is one of several sister agencies. You may also be familiar with the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County, the Sports Commission, and the Film and Television Commission, as well as Environmental Resource Management, all receive a portion of that funding. Discover receiving just about a little over 30% of that. Gustav, do you know the direct allocation, I don't think, from hotels in West Palm Beach overall?
Not off the top of my head.
But we can overall, we can try to aggregate that dollar. But again, of that, we operate off a budget about $28 million that we had in the last fiscal year. Our budget should increase in this fiscal year to just about $29 million. So that's how we go out and tell the story to the world about all of our 39 city municipalities, but most especially here in our capital city of West Palm Beach.
Thank you.
You have the question? Yeah. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you so much. I always enjoy having this presentation, and I love seeing Sergio at all of our events for the city. So thank you to everyone at Discover for continuing to support not just the whole county, but our city, our specific events. It's really encouraging to have so much support. My question is, I know you mentioned talking a little bit more about not just the tourism, but locals, and I love that you're participating closely with Forest Hill. That's fantastic. I think there's obviously so much growth opportunity here for jobs in the tourism industry. And you mentioned specifically Nora and Curry Park, and obviously those are two of our highlights of the things that were big improvements that we have coming to the city, really exciting opportunities. But we also have a lot of other areas of the city that you might not be as familiar with. Thinking about the historic Northwest, only it's probably the closest neighborhood here to downtown. And when I look at all the benefits that are coming to downtown in terms of tourism, we have a lot of activities also going on there in the Northwest. The Sunset Lounge, a lot of new projects on 7th Street. And I would love to invite you. We have Rose Trolley, if you haven't been on it, it's a fantastic little kind of golf cart that comes from downtown to the Northwest. I would love to invite you for a tour. They have a lot of different history projects that they're working on there to offer for different tourism opportunities, and just to make sure that people know the history of that area. And so I just wanted to put it on your radar. I would love to invite you all. I know it's very busy, but just to give you some other perspective of things you might be looking at to add to partnerships in the future.
That's wonderful. And I think that's the key to this brand new Cities campaign. So if you join us on November 6th at our State of the Tourism Industry event, you'll see a lot more of an expansion of how we will be focusing even more on the 11 cities that are within that Cities campaign. And we'll be able to work very collaboratively with Portia on being able to identify some of those assets and new things that we'll be doing in social as well as in emails. So the more information that we can get from you all and being able to bring our staff on those tours is very helpful for our content writers and social writers as well, so that we can really highlight those areas in which you want us to talk to visitors about as well.
Right. President Lambert.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox, I think that's a great point, and thank you for bringing up about the city's campaign. And I hope that, I don't know if there's an opportunity that you'll be soliciting input, or we work with city staff, mayor, through your office, to be able for the commissioners to, give some input on some areas that might be overlooked, that we could help highlight for partners in that campaign.
Yeah, I think West Palm Beach is going to be featured early on, so Sergio is going to be reaching out to get that collaboration for that very first newsletter. And then again, we can push those priorities to the social team as they focus on specific areas. So we'll work through Sergio with Portia and the marketing team overall.
Thank you, because there's so many hidden gems in our city.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Portia, can you make sure that you reach out to the commissioners and solicit their input? Thank you. All right, so just make sure you do individual outreach with the commissioners, please. Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments? Again, thank you all so much. We appreciate the collaborative relationship between you all and what we're doing here in the city. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Johnson, you want to tee up the next item, police department presentation?
Yes, Mayor.
Staffing and standards.
Yes, you give us just a few moments.
No, that's fine. It gives us time to get some more food.
Very good, good.
Good, how are you?
Are we ready?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the record, Faye Johnson, City Administrator. Again, good morning, Mayor, Commissioners, members of the staff, those who are in attendance, as well as those who are joining us by Channel 18. You know, it's my pleasure to kick off this presentation, which is an update on our police department. You know, and as I listen at the presentations from the park in tourism, you know, certainly we could not be enjoying the benefits, you know, of those two iconic events that we just heard about without having the police protection that we have within our city. So we recognize how critically important it is. So this morning, kind of at a high level, you know, what the commissioners and mayor, what you all are going to hear is how we have faced the challenge of building a sustainable world-class police force. And there is no end destination to that. That is a continuous process, and certainly with public safety historically always being job one of the city, that effort has progressed through each administration. So as we look at the agenda, sort of talking about services, staffing, and standards, I want to kind of just give some historical background between FY20 and FY25, introduce to some and probably just reintroduce to most the command staff that we have in place, and then I'm going to turn it over to the capable hands of our chief to talk about where we were, where we are, where we're headed, and certainly take questions and have a thoughtful discussion with you, Mayor and Commissioners. So from a historical background, looking at just this fiscal year period between FY20 and FY25, some of the key personnel actions. We know when we talk about protecting and serving, that gets accomplished through our men and women in uniform, guided by the leadership within the department. So we look at that period under the new administration. We had 77 officer vacancies that have been filled. In FY21, dealing with that challenge of where we found ourselves in terms of the pay scale here within our market, that was a priority of the board to do something about raising the pay of the men and women who serve our city. So we raised it in fiscal year 21 during that first 3-year CBA to get them from the 13th place in the market to 2nd place, and that resulted in a market pay increase of between 15 and 29%, and then of course maintained the 5% step pay increase. As we move toward the second 3-year CBA or collective bargaining agreement, because different contracts within the market are negotiated at different points of the year, there's always going to be a good possibility that the one place you negotiate that point in time, that will change over the 3-year period. So as we looked at negotiating the second 3-year contract, we had moved back to 15th place, and we negotiated it back to 2nd place in the market. And that resulted in a 17% market pay increase, plus the 5% step pay. We also instituted here in FY26 the 3% COLA, which had not been given for some time now. That was one of the areas that during harder times had to be given up. So we're pleased to be able to bring that back. And then we made some changes to improve the benefits in the pension multiplier for our men and women in uniform. Some of the other key actions that were taken, of course, to do the job that they do, they need to have adequate equipment, up-to-date equipment, and we know that we've had challenges with equipment just being significantly outdated. So we made huge investment in police equipment once we started the one-time funding program, given that historically our city has not budgeted capital funding as part of our budgeting process. The one-time funding program has enabled us to start chipping away at getting rid of antiquated, outdated equipment or just bringing online new equipment, and you see some of the things that we have actually accomplished within that period. I think there are just a few others as we talk again about equipment, and while this equipment has been ordered, we are waiting for some of the larger pieces of the equipment to actually be delivered. We know during the COVID years, we saw just the challenge with the labor force and being able to get things delivered on a timely basis. I think we may be past that, but it's still taking a while to get major equipment, although it has been ordered. So here we are. Looking at where we had the most recent change in our political leadership in October 2024, which was fiscal year 25.
Not political leadership.
I'm sorry.
Political leadership stayed the same.
I stand corrected, Mayor. Don't take that to mean anything but a Freudian slip, okay? And our police chief leadership, thank you for that correction. That was done at the tail end of October 2024, which was really at the beginning of fiscal year 2025. And before I do the introductions of the command staff, I would like to just recognize Assistant City Administrator Jose Rodriguez, who has helped me and the command staff with pulling all of the data and the information together for this presentation that you all are going to hear this morning and momentarily. And then I also want to recognize, while he's not a member of the command staff, we do have our union president, Sergeant Adam Myers, with us. So I want to recognize his presence here as well. But when we look at our command staff, when I looked at the total number of years of experience in law enforcement, it's bordering right up under 200 years of combined experience in law enforcement, and that is something that we should be proud about. So not at the table, we have Major Emily Wiggs with 22 years of law enforcement experience. Next to her is Major Andrew Clark, who has 23 years of law enforcement experience. Moving on to my far left, Assistant Chief, and I'm going to say Tony Spatera. We have a number of Tonys. Assistant Chief Tony Spatera, 29 years of experience. Sitting next to him is Assistant Chief Alfred Musco with 47 years of law enforcement experience. Keeping on with the Tony theme, we have Deputy Chief Tony Shear with 33 years of law enforcement, and our leader, Chief Tony Araujo, with 43 years of law enforcement experience. Mayor, commissioners, staff, members of the public, our command, police chief, staff. Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Good morning, everybody, Mayor, commissioners, everybody in the audience, and our residents at home. You've already met the command staff. I just want to thank them publicly for all the hard work they've done this last year. Transformation is difficult, and the value I place with Assistant Chief Spatera, Major Clark, and Major Wiggs to do the look-backs for lessons learned and then projecting forward, and the new arrivals, thank you very much. I couldn't do it without you. And also the men and women at the police department, inclusive of the lieutenants who have all been wearing many hats. But again, we get it done. So again, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and do the presentation. I have a closing statement, and then we can open up for questions and discussion. So upon commencing my tenure as chief, we were tasked with doing a full operational administrative review of the department. What we were doing well, what we were not doing as well, and establishing a best practice model. The Kalina Group, I sat down with the mayor early on and asked them to have the courage to bring these folks in, to give us a fresh set of eyes besides what I might have seen and noticed. And the mayor was gracious enough, and Ms. Johnson, to allow that. The Kalina Group was not a survey. Much was spoken of that once the report came out. It was not a survey. That was a very small part of it. The Kalina Group was embedded with us for quite a long time. The review's process or purpose was to conduct a top-to-bottom assessment of operational and administrative functions, identify internal and external issues affecting the department operations, and they were embedded with us for 90 days. And these were all tenured, experienced, well-versed law enforcement professionals that are trained, and their life experiences were on obtaining and sustaining best practice. Where we were. The Kalina Group identified, as did I, leadership and oversight voids. Much of that had to do with the lack of communication. Training deficiencies. You know, in today's police world, you've got to spend the money up front to train. It saves lives. It minimizes liabilities. Lack of accountability measures. One of the first questions I asked command staff, you remember, is what does accountability mean to the West Palm Beach Police Department? And how do we attain that progressively, coaching, mentoring, and bringing people along? Accreditation concerns. When I first arrived, I was notified that we're on accreditation probation because we had failed our last testing, and we had to get everything resolved by April. Quite a large lift. And again, I give credit to command staff and our many employees at the police department. Communication breakdowns, low morale. Morale's an issue, but let me just explain morale to you briefly. Morale is a personal issue. My job as a chief of police, anybody that's in the leadership mode, whether formal or informal, at the police department, is to create a fair, just, attainable model for every employee, whether sworn or non-sworn. Police work's difficult. That's why we take an oath. So morale is really a personal issue. If we establish those footholds, morale takes care of itself. Outdated equipment, the Kalina report did notice that, but some of those items were already on the order list, and I'll cover that a little later. Functionality and efficiency challenges, again, what's our purpose? What are our priorities? If everything's a priority, nothing is. Staffing needs, officer pay and benefit concerns, which had already been addressed. And because of those benefits that we have now, we're able to attract our market share of potential applicants. Our values, not complicated. These values apply to everybody at the police department, whether you're a uniformed officer, non-sworn professional staff, anybody that engages with us. Timely, credible, value-driven professional service. If we get up every morning to do those four things and we concentrate on the means, we will achieve best practice. The end will take care of itself. And our focus to address and prevent crime in order to improve the quality of life of our residents. We have the crime piece, just as important as quality of life. If you handle those issues when they're down here, they don't become crime issues. Key operational areas, recruitment and retention. I want to thank Major Wiggs. I've worked you like a one-armed paper hanger. I have. And I want to thank you. It's on steroids now. We're just not sticking to our local recruiting, which is very important because we want to hire folks from our backyard. But we've gone beyond the region. We're poaching at other academies throughout the state. We've been very successful. For instance, as recently, we had to duplicate our efforts at our current recruiting fair. I can tell you we had over 300 applicants. We have 98 that passed the first cut, which is unheard of in our police department. And again, a credit to you and to our city colleagues for helping us with that endeavor. So again, we have the standard fairs, military bases, colleges. Everybody's a recruiting billboard at the police department. I tell that to the police officers and our professional staff. We branded ourselves. We have a recruiting video that I want to thank HR for assisting us with and funding. We have a long version, a short version. I'm going to show you one a little later. That's gone a long way in branding our police department. Who are we? We are the West Palm Beach Police Department. And when we speak about recruiting, we not only speak to the police department, but we speak to living in this area, i.e. the city, this region, and everything it brings to you once you're employed here at the city. And then we're drafting an internal TDY program. You know, we talk about succession planning and training. Succession planning and training starts with the first day employee to the one that's about to walk out the door and everything in between. And I don't want to bore you with the process, but it's about moving cheese, preparing people, making them uncomfortable. So when we have to select a positional promotion, a promotion, whatever it might be, professional staff or law enforcement, a great problem to have is when you have 5, 6, or 7, 8 people to pick from. But you have to create that environment, and you have to work on that every day. Key operational recruitment and retention. We got increased funding for recruitment initiatives. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. We have 7 new professional staff, FTEs. They will alleviate timeline stressors over time and improve employee morale. Just to give you a brief glimpse of our central records. Public records requests are through the roof, and they've got to review everything, review videos, countless hundreds of hours of video before they're released. Very time consuming. And we want to make sure we get that right. So that's going to help us there. And then we have 27 new police officers. Our goal is to reduce overtime and create a better quality of life workspace for our officers. Hopefully we can reduce mandatory overtime. Just as a brief side note, we handle anywhere from 110 to 140,000 hours a year in special events. Think about that for a moment. And that comes from where? Our pool of officers generally work in details. Again, we are a destination city, no doubt. And our officers complete those duties in a very user-friendly way that chaperones our visitors and really makes people feel welcomed, as they did this weekend. We had a very successful opening day for our farmers and antique market. You heard about the COLAs and the pension multipliers, all good stuff when it comes to attracting candidates. And we have gotten our lion's share, because we're always competing with other agencies. But we are getting our due. We're getting the applicants. And this is the recruiting video. This is the long version. There's 3 shorter ones. And we're dumping this in different markets. We're expanding our social media. Everywhere you go, we kind of put this out. And the production company worked with us to give it to us at a discount. And we really appreciate that. But here's the long version. Don't worry about the guy at the end.
One good thing about West Palm Beach is that growth should be in the name of the city. The people that you meet, the networking with business owners, we're right up the street from the beach. We have the Intercoastal Waterway. West Palm Beach is all encompassing. We have beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful entertainment. What's not to love about our city?
I was actually riding my Harley one day and I ran into a sergeant here and he asked me to to apply. And I did, and it's changed my life.
I've always wanted to work for the city of West Palm Beach, being the fact that I'm from here. I grew up around here, so I've always wanted to serve and do policing in my own community. And this police department itself is well known across the state of Florida, so it's an honor to be here.
I like the freedom of it. Being stuck behind a desk is not for me, so being able to go different places, respond to different things. It's a busy city. I love that the City of West Palm Beach Police Department has multiple opportunities to grow and to learn different things. I was able to join the SWAT team early in my career. That gave me opportunities to learn a lot about tactics and weapons in different situations that involve high risk.
I stopped halfway through my college career and joined right into the police department, and I'm finishing my degree right now, and they reimburse you for that. It's awesome.
I like that we had a lot of different specialty units that you can go into, and my main goal ultimately was to help people, help the community, and build those bonds between the community and law enforcement. It's always been a special place in my heart.
I was born and raised in Florida. West Palm Beach, yeah, they offer very competitive pay, with great benefits. I have a large family, so the benefits are huge for the family.
It's probably one of the most rewarding departments to work for. There's so much you can do in this department, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's always worth the effort and time you put into it.
2, 1, 3. I love that we are American heroes. We get to put on this uniform and protect and serve the citizens of West Palm Beach.
We're an all-encompassing agency, so we're very self-sufficient. So if you want to go be a detective, you want to go be on the boat, you want to go wear a bomb suit, this is the agency for you.
We are the West Palm Beach Police Department, dedicated to timely, credible, value-driven professional service. Join us in making a real difference where integrity guides our actions and community trust drives our mission.
The camera does add 10 pounds. Key operational areas, we worked very hard to correct the demerits we got, and I can tell you that we were passed with flying colors back in April, and we are a fully accredited police department. And I want to thank our staff for that. Key operational areas, officer training and accountability. We've looked at all aspects of training, every piece of it. Fiscal year 26, we have increased funding for training and training initiatives. We're about to complete the FBI leadership training of our key staff. Tremendous. The last series in training is in about 3 weeks, Assistant Chief or Deputy Chief. And that's been great. Mrs. Johnson has appeared at these training sessions. We thank you, Ms. Johnson. A lot of bang for the buck there. We're creating future leaders of the police department. Implemented field training for newly promoted sergeants and lieutenants. Unfortunately, as we look back, this was an area we were deficient in. That's now established. We've also looked at our complete FTO program from top to bottom. Training is not a one and done. You have to evolve with new laws, new societal norms, all the above. It's a constant, so that's been reviewed. We created an intelligence unit manager, a Homeland Security manager. We have a very good stick, intelligence gathering. We're gonna put it on steroids. And what does this do? This was overseen by a lieutenant. We're gonna have that lieutenant now that's actually going to be on the floor partnering with the other lieutenant to make sure our investigative services are top tier and every case is receiving its due diligence.
Please explain what a stick is.
That's the strategic intelligence. Yes, yeah. The Strategic Intelligence Center, it's our, we receive all the crime data, the analysis, the cameras. It's that real-time policing model using technology. And we're very well postured here, Mayor, with that. We're just going to increase that as we go. We created a civilian detail coordinator's position. Remember the hours I told you we provide details here. That's an ungodly amount of hours, but we handle that very well. We're adding a small fee to our detail, what we charge the vendors, and that position will be funded at no cost to the police department. That frees up a sergeant that is currently addressing those needs now, and it frees up that sergeant to conduct more field supervision at the details. Key operational areas, training and accountability. As I said, we've gone top to bottom on our training. We revised our analytics to enhance predictive policing. We re-implemented stratified policing, hotspot policing. How are you using the data to deploy? What are you looking at the cause and effect of crimes, quality of life issues? Every morning at the police department, Monday through Friday, not the whole department, but senior command staff, we review the last 24 hours. We look at the crime patterns, the clouds, quality of life issues. We have discussions. And more importantly, we have the watch commanders in there. So they can go ahead and analyze it, look at cause and effect. It might be a quality of life issue that's promoting a crime issue. And we address those smartly, force multiplying, working smartly, trying to predict what's coming. In calendar year 26, what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and draft a citywide area supervisory model under the auspices of community policing and problem solving. We went ahead and disclosed it to our command staff last week, not reinventing the wheel here, giving them the tool and the tools of information and technology to better address these issues. Working smartly, force multiplier, just not adding human resource to something. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Is it a competing priority? And again, agency-wide model. This is not a one and done. It's not an event. It's a process changing the culture at the police department. Key operational areas, sector policing. We already know one of the first things I looked at before we were doing regionalized staffing, which in my experience doesn't really get us to where we need to be. So what did we do? Once we went ahead and reestablished the GPS mapping and all the technicalities involved with COMO, we established the 17 sectors, okay? It doesn't mean there's 17 officers out there. There might be 22, 23, 24, because we can put, depending on need, different officers or supplement certain sectors, but every part of the city is policed. And that brings greater accountability to the police officers. For instance, you want the police officer that's working your beat to know that maybe that car doesn't belong there. right? When we go down to the accountability model, the officer's going to have to know who owns that store, who's this person, and get to know the community beyond just a 911 call. So that's coming with the calendar year. Patrol level problem solving, developing formalized actions. If something has to require an action plan, we put an action plan on the server where everybody at the police department sees it. And all the shifts on the first, second, and third floor, the overlapping circles as I call them, they know what the objective is and they all do their part. Again, with the hopes of displacing and minimizing crime while also addressing the crime issues. Crime prevention, CEPTED. We sat down with the Nora District about 6 months ago, and we sat down and said, listen, if you don't have somebody that you're consulting with or an architect that understands CEPTED, do it. Well, they didn't. And they said, you know what? Good idea. What does that do? That's a force multiplier. We can minimize human resource, use technology, and design to minimize those instances where there's a possibility of crime. Walkways, public spaces, all the above. Real-time internal and external deconfliction. Communication. Sometimes communication can get away from you. And we make sure that the first, second, third floor and everybody, including our professional staff, communicate. We all have the same mission and it's one team. And I can tell you it's much, much improved. Eradicating the silo effect, we all know what that is. Restructured internal affairs, some of our self-reflection and inspection models. We created the professional standards unit. What does that do? It's actually a unit. They can do an unannounced inspection of any part of our agency. And again, why? To make sure we maintain best practice. Formal inspections, informal inspections. And what does it do? It's not to be adversarial. It's to self-inspect, have the mechanisms where we minimize those instances when we fall off best practice, and then readily identify them when they're down here and correct them. Not about grading, not about chastising, but it keeps everybody, their eye on the ball, so to speak, to maintain that best practice model so we never again fail an accreditation inspection. So that's what they're doing. Very valuable work. And we've also instructed the staff and tried to encourage them not to look at them as being adversarial. They're not there to grade. They're there to make us better. It's an overlapping circle. Monthly probationary employee evaluations and mentoring. Unfortunately, when I arrived, we were only in grading or evaluating new hires at the 6 month and year point. It's not best practice. We do that monthly, and we encourage coaching, mentoring, remedial training, and develop a culture where that's not frowned on. Okay, we can hire a very well-trained officer. We can't give them the experience unless they're a certified police officer. So kind of changing the outlook. I'm just not grading. Coach them, teach them, mentor them. Because I never like to hear at the end of 9 or 10 months, somebody will come up to me and say, well, they're not making it. Well, what did you do to help them make it? To achieve best practice. We all started somewhere, so that's in play. Constantly benchmarking, not to recreate, but to make sure that we're maintaining the industry norms, that we are at best practice, and when we're not to be repetitive, have those mechanisms where you readily get back on it. Expanding employee development, not only our sworn, but our professional staff. We cannot operate without our professional staff, and I think there's over 120 of them that support us every day, and they do an incredible job. And the other thing I've done with my subordinate staff, we've completed a top-to-down policy review. We have changed policies. One of the simple policies we changed was Code 3, our Code 3 policy. Again, best practice, and that's been completed. Key operational areas, community partnerships. We can't do it without the community. We've expanded that footing. Myself, I've been to, I can't tell you the number of meetings I've got to, but that's not a one and done. That's the norm. That's what the chief does. That's what command staff does. With this new accountability model we're going to go to, when you're going to have watch commanders that not only the daily push, but an area, geographical area that they're responsible for beyond the operational push, you're going to see watch commanders going to these meetings. And they'll take the first 10 minutes of the meeting. They'll give a brief as to what the hot topic items are for that region, that neighborhood, that area of the city, and listen to the residents. Constructive critique, right? And what can we do better? If you have those communication channels, and especially closer to the ground, those doing the work, more gets done. If the only one that's showing up is the chief, we have failed as an organization. So that's coming. Expanding crime prevention is SEPTED. We added another officer to do that, available to all our residents and businesses. We're trying to create a culture where if an officer's taken a burglary or crime theft, and if they see that there might be something better the resident and what the business can do, we have an officer to help them to minimize displace and prevent crime. We opened up the West Palm Beach Explorer Post. Thank you for funding that. Incredible. We filled the seats right away. One of our explorers went to the academy, I think up in Jupiter. She led the class. We just promoted her to sergeant. I can tell you, these kids are from our backyard. It's incredible. Once we get it where we need to get it, because I like to make sure it's where it is, we're going to expand that program. We're rehabbing the engagement center. The city has graciously provided funding for that. The holdup right now is when we order equipment, i.e. the HVAC, it takes time to get it in. But that's on full tilt. It's a agency and city priority. And what are we going to use that facility there? It's going to be the Explorer Post, but we're not going to turn kids away. We're going to expand on that. And again, it'll be a central receiving point for these youngsters to come and be a part of that program or any other programs that we develop there. And then I've created a pastoral alliance, and I'm in prep. I'm going to create a chaplaincy program at the police department, which is a critical piece to any police organization. Non-denominational. It's an ear that helps us. Not only we have the great formal EAP programs here, but it's an ear. Somebody they can become familiar to, because police work is very stressful. So we're working on that. Private security partnerships, again, we're interloped with them. SEPTED, working with our security. One of the things we're projecting for the calendar year is creating a group meeting with our security providers, so we're all on the same page. And again, certain informations we can't share, much we can. Again, force multiplier. They're the eyes and ears. Now, how do you report? How do they do their job to enhance our job and help each other? So that's coming. Extra duty details, I already covered that, how many we do in the city. We are a destination city. Branding is important. Keeping our citizens and visitors safe is critical. You know how it plays in the media sometimes. One bad incident, oh my God. And we're very careful to make sure we're out there, we're accessible, and we provide a pleasant environment for all. And the other thing is I did review our large event security footing. You see what we had to do and we did with our antique show and the farmers market. Again, presence, deterrence. PD building, infrastructure investments, $6 million has been allocated. Much to do about a lot of things, we can't control what the media says, but this is the reality. These are the facts. The air quality in the building is good. Anything else you hear is not factual. We have a contractor that's working with us, Jonathan in the city, our city colleagues, full tilt. But these things take time, it takes planning. There's comprehensive repair and rebuilding to include the HVAC systems, roof repairs. Some of the roofs have already been repaired. It's an old building. I have prior experience with this, trust me, at my previous employer, and it was worse. It's not anyone's fault. It just happens, and you have to mitigate and deal with it when it comes. So everything's being looked at, exterior walls, windows, drainage improvements, and we're also exploring remediating the range. We have some options available to us, but we're looking at doing that thanks to our city colleagues. Stay tuned.
I didn't hear what you said. Remediating the what?
Remediating the range. Okay. We have a range, but unfortunately, the venting systems have changed, and what was once adequate is no longer adequate. So we had to shut it down. But in the meantime, rest assured, we are using other ranges. Palm Beach Gardens is very gracious, sheriff's offices and whatnot. So we're making do, but once again, I'm sure we're going to get a range. It's just a matter of when and where, but it's coming. Infrastructure investments, substantial fleet replacement. Cars are always needed. The new command bus, EFF, and bomb unit vehicles are on order. They were on order. Big ticket items, very necessary. Huge investment, going to go a long way for the police department. New portable radios, Motorola radios, won the TNA. Incredible what these radios can provide. It has the ability to dispatch intel information and whatnot on a screen, working smartly. Information is king, so we can work smartly. We're adding a portable radio tower that Major Clark's been working on in the Western community. Is going to increase our reception. It's okay. It's going to get much better, so we don't have any glitches. That's coming very soon. We replaced the night visions for our SWAT team operators. Haven't been done in over 20 years. We did. Great add to our SWAT team. Very capable, top-tier SWAT team that we have here in the city. We're adding new cameras and license tag readers. That's in progress. New drone on order. We have an exceptional drone program. As you know, we just won national recognition in California for the best medium-sized police department in the country. Some of you have heard me talk about sustaining best practice. West Palm Beach PD is creating best practice thanks to the men and women that head that program. Something we should all be very, very proud of and have a little pep in our step. We also have a new drone on order. It's going to have even more capability. Imagine you get a call for service. It's a priority call. Say it's the shot spotter call. We're already doing it. And you dispatch a drone simultaneously. It gives you the eyes and ears to be safe. Not only safe for the police officers, but for our citizens. We have that in place. We're having some crime scene equipment upgrades. We just purchased some equipment for them. They were top tier. They're going to be even better. Critical piece of any investigation. Evaluating force multiplier and efficiency through technology. We're looking at A&I. There have been some agencies in this region, in our backyard, that have successfully used A&I. If you use it wisely, it creates best practice. And what does it do? Before you ask for a human resource, if you have technology, no matter what it is, if it serves as a force multiplier and usually a safety enhancer, it's expensive, but it's a one-time, and then you got to reoccur the licensing. But it also minimizes legacy costs when it comes to the human resource. We need human resource. We know that. We're not using this instead of, but if you use it wisely, you check it, you benchmark it, does it fit your policing model? It's something that we're doing constantly. And then we're expanding grant funding. We just applied for a grant, Ms. Johnson, I didn't tell you about, but we applied for a grant to get a new armored vehicle. We might have a good shot on getting it. We'll see. Infrastructure investments, state-of-the-art public operations. Thank you, CRA, Chris. Very soon we saw that, we had a security footprint downtown. Now with these new barricades, these are the latest and greatest barricades. They'll stop a vehicle up to, I don't want to say that in public. It'll stop vehicles. When we had the boat show, Metro Dade, or Miami, I think that's what they're called now, BSO, were gracious enough to lend us theirs. Well, guess what? Ours are on order. They're arriving shortly. We're going to have our own. Thank you again, Chris, from the CRA. Where we're headed, infrastructure, investment, state-of-the-art public security operations. Again, nationally recognized drone program. I've already covered that. We're getting another drone. I can't tell you what an add-on that is to public safety since we have the drones. I mean, even, helicopters. I can tell you from my experience at my previous employer, the sheriff's office, that billable hour for a helicopter is about $900 an hour to fly. If you can replace that with a drone and get just as, if not better, coverage, that's what you do. Working smartly, increasing that budgetary dollar. And again, it's an incredible tool that law enforcement has. And we use it wisely, by statute, by Supreme Court decisions. We don't use it to spy. We play by the rules. So our citizens can rest assured we're not using it to anything but to enhance public safety. Here's a little video I'll show you of some of our drone crews in training.
Up in the sky above this empty field, a drone flies in a seemingly random way. It's being operated by a police officer during training, and it's supposed to be following a very specific path above these targets before landing on one of them. The officers on this drone team have to complete their training and become certified as remote pilots by the Federal Aviation Administration. Once they do that, they'll be using the drones to help keep the city safe.
The reason for this is we're starting a drone as first responder program at the police department.
Detective Haven Sipple had already been flying drones and shooting video with them as a hobby. Now he's brushing up on his skills and getting ready to put them to good use on the job.
They started talking about the team. They asked for people with knowledge about it, and I volunteered.
The drones will be deployed during festivals and other events. They'll also be used to investigate 911 calls, shot spotter alerts, and other situations.
It puts you in a position where you're not blocked by buildings, you're not blocked by trees, so you can actually cover more area faster.
Outfitted with cameras, the drones can record video and also transmit images live. They have infrared thermal capabilities to detect heat, which will help police find suspects and victims as well. They're expecting to be good to go very soon. This is Cheryl Kahn reporting for WPB-TV.
And not only can we pilot them remotely, over at the police station we have a pilot center. And they all have to be FAA certified. It's incredible to see in action, it really is. So where are we headed? Branding and best practices. Branding our police department. You know, who are we? We are the West Palm Beach Police Department. Best practice, everything I've talked about. We're expanding our social media footprint and community exposure. It's important that we're seen, we're heard, we interact with the community. And we always get their opinions, not only our governing body, but our community, those we serve, and also those we serve with. Constant posture of SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We challenge ourselves. We look back. Are we at best practice? Not to reinvent the wheel, but you have to have that constant posture in a police department if you're going to create that best practice posture, which becomes the norm. Self-inspection, reflection, continue investing in employee development, both sworn and professional staff. We are a very young police department. And what I want to try to do here is establish a foundation to, irrespective of who the next chief is, because there will be a next chief, and hopefully we might be able to select somebody from within the department. I can assure you we have much talent at the police department. We do. We just have to cultivate it. You know, Lee Iacocca said, lead, follow, and get out of the way. Sometimes you got to lead, and the leader has to get out of the way. And again, I'm very pleased to report that to you.
You might want to tell some of these younger people who Lee Iacocca is.
We'll have a sidebar. We are preparing for large-scale retirements. I mean, the drop, it's coming. I mean, we have a lot of institutional knowledge that's leaving us. And what are we doing? What do we do, as I touched on earlier, preparing staff from the first day to their end day and in between. And we want to create an environment of mentoring and coaching, constantly, not weaponizing knowledge, freely giving it and expanding that. You know, ask the why, ask the how, and teach our new staff so they can become, ultimately going to become the seasoned staff and the leaders of this police department. And critically, the most important widgets of any police department, believe it or not, is the sergeant. If we don't have the sergeant's piece well-oiled, well-prepared, well-seasoned, well-trained, it doesn't matter what the top does. And we're working on that day in and day out. And again, we have great sergeants. We have good informal leadership that they want to become formal leaders. So again, it's not a one and done. It's a process. It's a constant. So with that, I'm going to read a closing statement, since I wasn't able to address you at the beginning. And this will answer some of your questions. and then I'll take whatever questions you have. From my first day as your police chief, the mission given me by the mayor was to assess our agency from a best practice perch and to address areas that might fall short. As I stated very early in my tenure and reaffirmed to you today, service delivery never faltered. To maintain best practice, an agency must be resilient and have a posture of adaptability to the ever-changing public safety landscape. This requires human resource that is trained, equipped, mentored, and led in steadfast and practical terms that address the now, over the horizon, and the future. A future where vetted, value-driven technology is in play. We must always establish the why, coupled with strategic planning that puts value in every dollar allocated to the police department. A value proposition that understands budgetary constraints and the critical importance of strategic planning. Having a solid service delivery foundation can and will overcome a bad moment, yet alone a bad season in time. A foundation that supports the ever-growing responsibilities in public safety and transforms when required. As part of that foundation, we must prepare our staff to anticipate and prepare for the unexpected while having the resilience and adaptability required in today's workspace. Change is not for the faint at heart, lazy, or regimented of thought. I am pleased to report that the police department is ripe with visionaries that understand this and know how to put actions into play to better serve. In fiscal year 26, our strategic posture will continue as we address the now and plan for the future. Our energies will be channeled towards consistent service that is practical, adaptable, prepared, and sustainable no matter what lies before us. Through the efforts of our mayor, city commission, Administrator Johnson, and all our city colleagues, our residents and businesses, our department is utilizing new technologies and innovative proactive law enforcement best practices to address crime and quality of life concerns. Preventing, displacing, and addressing crime and the quality of life of all our residents and visitors is our daily objective, and we will continue to accomplish this by providing timely, credible, value-driven professional service that is practical, well thought out, and planned. Your police department is at best practice. I want to thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, Ms. Johnson, and our community for your continued support and openness to engage your police department in assisting us in being a best practice agency. This completes my presentation.
Thank you, Chief. And I know we probably have a number of questions. Let me just state publicly, and I can't believe it's been a year since we made the change, but I'm also incredulous at the amount of territory that you've covered, you and your team have covered in that year. So let me just publicly thank you and your team for all the progress you've made. Yes, there's still work to be done, but I am recommitted to the decision I made a year ago to bring you on as interim, and recommitted to the decision we made a few months later to make you the new police chief. And this report demonstrates the wisdom of that decision. So thank you again for all you've done, and I'll open it up for questions. Commissioner Ward, President Lambert.
I have a number, but I'll go one at a time. When you talked about re-implementing stratified policing, what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, using the data, numbers, response locations, all the above, everything that we do, and looking at the cause and effect, and then addressing it through our sergeants and lieutenants to address the issues, again, in a team atmosphere with every floor of the police department. So once a week on Thursdays, we have what we call a deployment session. And that's where we go over the numbers, the causes and effect. Numbers don't tell you everything. They give you a part of the story. And then it's open dialogue and exchange of information and ideas. Again, not reinventing the wheel, but making sure that information is being freely shared and flowed so we can all be on the same page. So we were doing it, but we're not following it completely. We're doing it now.
Sorry, follow up on that. That's what I was trying to get to, because I know that stratified policing was a hot topic word for many years, and so I was just trying to understand. I know that we were looking in data driven, but I've gotten that question from residents is how are we doing it differently? And so you're just saying it's more communication based and looking past numbers?
Yeah, looking at true numbers, looking at the cause and effect. Not that we weren't doing that before, but we're doing it now, and we're doing it more precisely. And again, there not much of what we talk in there is really law enforcement sensitive. I welcome you to attend a meeting once, see what it's about.
Don't tempt me with a good time, Chief. I'll be there.
Okay.
President Lambert.
Thank you so much, Chief, to you and to the leadership team. That video of recruitment, I think, goes to show how diverse and well experienced our department is, but it also showcases our city. And I'm glad that we're working hand in hand, because I appreciate what you said in your last statement about, your mission is to help ensure the quality of life for our residents and our visitors. And I believe we're working on that and doing a great job. But I think part of that is evaluating and looking at hard truths. And I appreciate the Kalina group doing this report and assessment, and I reviewed it again in preparation for this meeting. Two of the top items that were highlighted in here was understaffing and general low morale. And I think everything that you talked about today talked and addressed fixing and redirecting low morale. I think that you put together a clear plan for recruitment, but I was and I understand that those two probably go hand in hand. With low staffing breeds low morale with people being burnt out. But I was just curious if there was anything specific that you all are implementing that really helps to address maybe silos or I saw terms about cultural divides within departments. And I do want to comment that in the report that it did say, as they were doing this report, that a large number of respondents had already seen a positive change within just a short amount of time of new administration coming in, and I commend you for that.
Well, thank you. I can tell you that the 27 new sworn staff that we're getting is going to be of tremendous help, quite a lift. So we're good. I can tell you that out of the 41 vacancies we have now, because of the new hires, I mean, we were only down, I believe, 15? So we made tremendous impact on the numbers we had. So again, it's not a one and done, it's a process. So the new staffing, we're going to get both professional staff, what I spoke to about technology, we're all headed in the right direction. And again, before I come to you, this body, and ask for more people, I want to make sure that we truly need them. Have we filled what we have? But we're in a good place. We are. As far as morale, as I said, it's a personal issue. You've got to set the foundation. Communication. I do a lot of managing by walking around. I don't circumvent the chain of command, but I have to be accessible. I can tell you that our labor relation meetings, we have them. I've changed the posture there. If you have a suggestion, we don't shoot messengers, whatever it is. Bring it forward. Have an idea. Have a suggestion. It was, when I first got here, just a complaint session where they were attacking individuals. I'm not going to have that under my watch. We have measures by which to address those issues with HR, internal mechanisms. So that's changed. And again, their voices count. I sit down with the union every 2 weeks and have quiet time. We discuss issues, and as long as we're not talking about each other's mama, it's all good. It stays quiet, right, Adam? So again, you have to work with the union. They have their side, I have my side. Usually we can reach a consensus that puts the agency and those we serve first. So it's a bunch of stuff. It's just not a one and done. And again, a police department is not a democracy. It is not. But you have to hear the voices, because usually the better ideas come from who? Those doing the work.
Commissioner Warren, and then go back to.
Thank you, and I appreciate all of the experience that you all bring to the West Palm Beach Police Department. It is highly valued. When you were, and speaking of experience and talking about recruiting new officers and the drop in officers that losing some experience from some very seasoned professionals, is there an opportunity when we think of overtime and events that have been scheduled in advance, is there a way for officers that have retired that are still in good standing to continue to support some of those events and perhaps take some of that staffing pressure off of the officers that are sworn at the time?
There could be. I'd have to explore the charter and sit down with Ms. Johnson because there's certain restrictions. But yeah, that's something. We're looking at everything. And again, we're going to be moving cheese, if you read the book. We're going to be making people uncomfortable. That requires a lot more time for me and command staff and middle managers because we want to have the problem where we need to replace one person. We got 5 people to pick from. That's what we're trying to create there. But I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's something we'll be looking at, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fox, and we'll make our way back around.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all that you're doing, and I see you all the time at all of these community events, and I know it goes a long way for our neighbors to be able to see you and talk to you and just learn more about what you're doing, and so I appreciate all that. I had a question about the training facilities, and specifically, you mentioned the range, but for years, one of the things I've heard is that we might be looking at a facility that would be a police and fire training facility at a property we have out west, and I think you and I talked about it maybe a little bit at the 9/11 event, where the ever-changing public safety needs that you can't anticipate. Right now it's fantastic that we can have these barriers that we'll be having and bringing in, but we don't know what the next thing is. And so to have to borrow a range in Palm Beach Gardens, and I know that there's many other training opportunities that are needed that I don't know anything about. But, I want to make sure that that is something that is on our radar about a resource that we need to be looking into the future, because I know that that is a big expense. And I just wonder if you can talk a little bit more about, not just the range that might be needed, but other things that we can help to facilitate some kind of training facility moving forward that we can start having discussions about. Thank you.
Okay, let me just unpack it by saying this. Our training we're not deficient in any way. Police departments include the sheriff's office. We help each other. We might help Palm Beach Gardens with an asset they don't have, because that's what we do, mutual aid. They help us with the range. So is it a little bit inconveniencing because you have to go from point A to point B? Yes. Are we suffering training-wise? No. We're hitting the marks. We recently had a meeting at City Hall with a team, engineering. I think, Armando, you were there. And we're having those serious discussions on planning for this site. And it has to be in my opinion, very carefully planned, because it's a legacy building, right? It's a structure that's going to be there 30, 40, 50 years, and you have to plan for expansion. But those discussions have been taking place since I've got here, and we have got to plan it in concert with the fire department very carefully, and I can tell you those meetings are occurring. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you. I will turn to Armando at some point. I would like to hear more about that. So I'm glad to hear that that's moving forward, and I just want to make sure that if there's budget discussions that we should be having, that the commission is also aware of it. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could, I think where we are, how it differs from where we have been. Historically, there have just been ongoing discussions, about a joint training facility, different fire stations that we needed, perhaps a new PD building. So we have gone from just having discussions to now planning and looking at potentially what that joint training facility looks like and the projected cost, and then identifying funding sources. And at an appropriate time, we certainly will be having discussions with the board via a work session. So we are putting plans together as opposed to having discussions, because I can tell you, in part, we had an organization operating on discussions, and there was nothing to it but, 20 years ago, someone said, we're going to get a new joint training facility, and we can't do anything until we get that. And when you try to then track back to the legitimacy of that, what was actually put in place to have that, it was just a passing comment. So I think we're at the right place where we're now planning strategically and looking at potential funding sources, and that will elevate to a discussion with the board.
Okay, we'll start making our way back around. Commissioner Ward.
Thank you. And I do want to say, following Commissioner Warren's commentary, I'm hearing from the officers as well that they are liking these changes and liking the department. I know that there was a morale issue, and it's terrible to see when you guys are our front defense, and you should be proud of your positions. And so I think that speaks volumes of what you guys have been able to accomplish thus far, is that the people on the ground are saying positive things. I do want to understand, just because you are talking about efficiencies and increased staffing, and that leads to my question of, what do we look like as far as overtime when it comes to events just in general, and how do we weigh that with how many hours officers are supposed to be working overtime? And in addition, with these other efficiencies, are we going to ever see a standstill in the regards of the ask from budget? Because if we're doing things with AI and technology, in theory, we shouldn't be spending on these other things. So are we going to see a dip in some of the requests we're getting future in the budget because of these efficiencies?
I can't predict the future. I can tell you the measures. I mean, hope. If you have a good strategy, you might get there. But you lose an officer. They work 2,080 hours a year. You lose them about 600 to 700 hours a year, training, FMLA, vacation, all those. And you've got to plan for that. And sometimes, unfortunately, we get more officers hurt, right? So overtime never goes away. One of the 4 tenets that I value, everything has to be value driven, whether it's a planned event, the value in providing security and displacement. Well, that costs money. But I can assure you, Commissioner, that everything we look at, one of the main points of discussion in my executive staff meetings on Wednesdays with senior staff and then trickling down to everybody, wise spending. So yes, we are looking at that, but it's not a one and done. It's going to take time to get the staff on board. And then unfortunately, no matter what size of department you have, the other place I worked at, we had over 2,000 badges. Overtime never goes away. Now you can manage it, mitigate it, minimize it where you can, but it's a needed tool. And sometimes you might have a large scale event, and for whatever reason, we might have to order people in. I can tell you, no matter the size of the organization, I'll use the sheriff's office as an example. Over there, Chief Musco, did we order people in?
Yes, sir, we did.
And that's the unfortunate thing. It's tough missing a child's birthday. I've had to miss many. That's what we sign up for. Now, we try to create an environment where we minimize that. But I said earlier, that's why we have to take an oath for what we do. And then when those burdens come, we deliberately look to spread it around so we don't go to the same well. So we have all those mechanisms in play, and we're constantly looking at it, because I would like to minimize that over time. I would.
All right. Commissioner Warren, did you?
I think it's
President Lambert.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions and having this conversation with us. In your presentation, you mentioned DROP and considering that in our recruitment efforts and staffing. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, the DROP, the officers are locked into a separation date. Now, they can go to the end of their DROP, it's 5 years, and they have an end date. Or they can go before. Most officers aren't prone to leave before, but that's a data projection. You have a date certain where this person is going to go ahead and separate. So how do you plan ahead? Training. I mean, you lose a lot of institutional knowledge, as I said earlier. You lose real police knowledge, investigative knowledge. And again, we got to create a posture in the police department. If you're a well-established, best practice police department, you have all those contingencies in play as a matter of just standard practice.
And did our the new officer positions that we budgeted for this year take into account those that are in DROP?
Well, when somebody drops, okay, you're not losing the allocation, you're replacing them. So with our our hiring and whatnot, our recruiting efforts, we project those. We have them, we look at the DROP report, I think every month it is, and we incorporate all those, not only existing, but what's coming over the horizon.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. So we've heard a conversation about ranges, and my question is, are there testing requirements? Are there certain markers that officers or people in the field are supposed to meet as it relates to agility and certifications and what they need to do at the range? And I happened to see a pursuit on Saturday morning, and the young man jumped over a fence like it was a twig on the ground and took off running, and there was a whole lot of things going on, and I was just wondering, are we required to have annual?
Yes, they have standards. I mean, I usually just run to the fence now, but I run through it. I don't jump it. But no, there is, and then you have to have mechanisms in play where whatever standard that isn't met, whether it's a physical standard, a train, whatever it is, you have a process to remediate, to put them in an improvement performance plan, give the employee time that's reasonable to get better, and held to standard. And if we're doing what we should, as I said, the critical piece of the equation is a sergeant. And a sergeant needs to be out there with those they supervise. And they should key on those things, and they do. They do.
Commissioner Fox?
Do you have a follow-up?
I'm running a meeting.
Sorry. Thank you. I guess we can start calling it the Explorers Center now instead of the PAL Center, but it's been one of the concerns that I've had over the past couple of years since PAL has been going through some challenges, and I'm just very relieved to know that the Explorers Club will be moving forward. But can you talk a little bit about it? You said, I guess, that it's full now, but you anticipate you'll be expanding and that you'll be able to invite kids from the neighborhood. And I'm just curious if you can talk a little bit about what you have in mind for the building. I know there's renovations going on, but at some point.
No, once it opens, as I said, we're not going to turn any kid away that wants to come. We're going to have workstations set up. We want to get some tutoring. Do all those things and the above. When I speak about the Explorer program, there's a certain amount of allocations because you have to, it's budgetary dollars to uniform them. They go to competitions. That's part of the program. They'll go to the Panhandle to go ahead and compete with other Explorer posts. Okay, so I want to make sure we have those 17 solid and then explore the future. Again, there's budgetary constraints, but then there's also funding we can seek from other alternative funding measures. I can tell you the fund helped us provide uniforms for the entire Explorer post. They've also provided us some monies that we put through council for some of our recruiting efforts. Some of those well thought out business government partnerships really do work. So we're also looking at that. But again, we're not going to, if a kid comes to the, and Andy, what are we calling it? The Community Engagement Center. We're not going to turn away a youngster. No, we're not going to be doing that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ward?
Thank you. I was curious about some of the, obviously we talked about, NORA implementing SEPTED, I believe, or the representatives of NORA implementing SEPTED and utilizing, obviously we've got certain areas with private security. I was just curious about your opinion on how we work with private security and whether there are other targeted, innovative policing areas you think that we should be looking at as a board.
So we're going to go create a consortium of all the security providers in the city, so we can have discussions with them. And again, they can hear our opinions, we can hear theirs, and achieve a best practice with the overlapping circles of private security. And we do have the benefit of having some really good security companies that provide service in the city. But again, communication, staying abreast of SEPTED, what does that mean? Whether there's a redesign in progress or a new building or an area of public space being created, it's important that we look at those things. It's a constant. And then have those dialogues and discussions and build familiarity, not so much from the chief, to include the chief, but more importantly with those doing the work.
Thank you. I was excited to also hear about the SEPTED work that you're doing, and hopefully that we're engaging with our city staff as well as we create new buildings, and thinking specifically in the CRA and So thank you for that. My question is about the building. You talked about the air quality and that the air quality is good there. But I know that there's some remediation going on. Can you talk a little bit about how we're managing that? And I'm grateful to hear that you've had experience with that at the county already. But I'd love to know how we're managing where all our staff go.
I want to minimize displacement, and a good plan does that. I want to minimize the expense of, we all do, from point A to point B. It's a large building. And the truth is some of the spaces aren't properly used, but we can get to that later because that's what we're looking at too. But again, the contractor, Jonathan, our point person within the police department, they plan ahead. They have a remediation plan. And for instance, if they can move a group from point A to point B, that's what we can do and stay within the building instead of, if we go to an alternate location, it'll be because we absolutely have to. And that's not going to be long-term. It'll be for a moment. We already have some of our folks moving into the photographic center. It'll provide a better workspace for the contractor to get some of these things done. But service is not going to suffer at all. And then I've also told the contractor, they've been very gracious in working with Jonathan at the city, to maintain a level of service. I can't kill a switch here till I turn this one on, and I'm sure the breaker doesn't go off. And again, air quality is safe. I go from the guy that holds the shingle, that's the scientist that deals with this, and I told him if something changes, we talk just about every week. So Great. We're in a good place.
Thank you.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. I appreciate today's dialogue instead of a series of one-on-one meetings and having this with all of my colleagues and all of you here to engage in this conversation. I heard you refer to a code 3, and I don't know what that is, and I don't know if you can elaborate on that just for my edification. And the COLIDA, you mentioned that, and President Lambert mentioned the report, but I have not seen that information. Is that something that...
The Colina report?
Colina, did I misspell it? How do you spell it?
C-O-L-I-N-A. Yeah, we can provide you a copy of that. For sure. But yeah, that was just an example. We have to constantly look at our policies and procedures, not for the sake of change, but are they meeting societal, legal, all that? And are we minimizing our liability in a way that hits best practice while still providing service? Code 3, Code 3 is necessary. But there are times where we should run Code 3 and many times where we shouldn't. And that requires supervisory, again, getting that sergeant piece where it needs to be.
What is Code 3?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's when an officer goes with blue lights and sirens.
Okay.
And to make sure there is a continuous training when it comes to that. I often say, we need to drive more like the firefighters, They always get there, and we have to, too. And that, again, training, muscle memory, and the appropriate level of supervision, and it solves all that.
But they got big fire trucks, though, so.
Yeah.
Commissioner Fox.
Thank you. Slightly off topic from the things you were showing us today, but I received several calls last week from residents who had been called by the media about PBSO taking over some issues downtown. And when I called internally, I heard that that was not the case, and then I watched what ended up being the segment, and it was, I think, the media may be looking for a story that wasn't there, but I'm curious.
Let me guess, it was WPTV, right?
Yes, it was. So I'm just wondering if you could talk, when I watched it, it sounded like we do have some kind of partnership for a pilot program with PBSO, and I'm wondering if you could just talk a little bit about it. It sounded like the kind of thing we should be doing, having partners that help each other, but just curious if you could clarify a little bit more about that.
Nothing new. We have extensive partnerships with the police department, with local police departments, the sheriff's office, our federal partners. We have what we call task force officers, right? But let's speak about the homeless. As you might know, we have an embedded detective now that works with a team. Okay, a team that targets those folks that are, having mental challenges, because they have the really in-depth training, the resources, and the partnerships to get these folks help right away. So when you see a chronic homeless person, let's see, you see that person that's in the middle of the intersection, being irrational. That's a symptom. We call this team in. We have incredible resources here, but that requires even more in-depth. PBSO has been coming in here for a long time. They're the county jurisdiction, but we partner with them. Now we have our own detective. We have our own team working in partnership with the sheriff's office. So they're not here taking over anything. It's something we've done, we'll continue to do, but the lead is most often that detective that we have as part of that task force officer model. It's our detective, it's a clinician, it's a therapist, and they all work together to resolve these issues. We've had many, many successes. When one of our usually they're homeless and they have mental challenges and they take over a park bench or they take over an intersection. Okay, we not only try to address the moment, but again, more importantly, the symptoms. And we've had many, many, many successes because of that program. So nobody's taking over. And unfortunately, the media, you know, they're going to say what they're going to say. I mean, recently, we had an unfortunate circumstance at Howard Park, which was unfortunate. It was a suicide. They reported it as a shooting. I can't tell you the number of calls I got. You know, again, it's what the media does nowadays, and none of us are going to change that.
Commissioner Ward.
Thank you. And the response time, I've even just personally seen the other day, I saw someone completely passed out blocking a sidewalk near a CVS, called you guys as I was walking in. By the time I came out, you had 2 officers responding to the area. And so, and I keep hearing more of those stories. And so I appreciate the timeliness of responsive, because quality of life issues are, you know, they're not obviously what everybody at the police force normally signs up for, but they impact more of the residents' day-to-day lives. When it comes to the camera program, I know we have existing cameras all over. We've obviously agreed to fund cameras in the South End. I think it was $365,000. We have cameras along Broadway. How is that going? Are we showing data that's provided that we're, you know, okay, we're now noticing this amount of increase in people that are carjacking and you know, they're seeing justice, or et cetera? What are we seeing as far as the results of the existing camera programs to incentivize us continuing to fund additional camera programs?
Well, the cameras help. It's an evidence platform. You know, does it deter some? A great deal. Does it deter others? No. It's all encompassing the justice, the measures that we have, and the prosecution and all that stuff. But I can tell you the cameras, the tag readers, I won't get into tactics, means, or what they provide, because those are confidential in nature. But I can tell you it is money very well spent. Does it help? Yes. It also provides a level of safety for the officers. Think about a dispatch call. Think about cameras are already up. Think about the drone already up. In today's police environment, de-escalation is critical. Tactical pause is critical. You know, I've said often what 2 police officers used to be able to do 10 years ago with a short report now takes 4 or 5, 2 or 3 hours on scene, de-escalating. It's not going to change, and it's a good thing. We come out for the better for that. But the cameras and tag readers, I can tell you, well, I can't tell you because it's sensitive, but Commissioner, it's money extremely well spent.
President Lambert.
No, I'm good.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that it's wonderful to see all of the collaborations with Palm Beach Gardens and the Sheriff's Office. I know, like, through our Homeless Coalition, there's Captain Rodney and Deputy Mackey. I think that
Maldonado and Mackey, yeah.
That have been fantastic. And so having those relationships and kind of gleaning best practices is definitely a good way forward. And the program that I was talking about with the former officers is reinstating the retirement. What is the former reserve officer program?
We are going to initiate a reserve program. It's in the back of my book, and a well-planned, well-orchestrated, well-trained reserve program is of huge benefit. That's on my to-do list. And the other thing the training that Maldonado and Mackey put together, I had a little bit of a hand in that when I was still over at the Sheriff's Office. We're putting our officers through that.
Commissioner Fox.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that recruiting is going so well. I actually was at City Place the day, one of the days you were filming, and I saw Lori Colombino, and she offered me a position of a victim in one of those segments, but I turned her down. So my question is, are there any additional challenges to hiring right now that are things that we could be supporting that we haven't yet?
You heard what one of the officers said. Our pay and our benefits are incredible. Our living in this area is a blessing. So we're doing, the city has been, everything we've asked for, they've given to us. It's not a one and done, it's a constant. You're always competing with other agencies. Back in the day, you had a lot of folks that would leave a smaller agency up north, right? And they had a pension. And then they came down and double dipped. And maybe it wasn't West Palm, maybe not the sheriff's office, but they went to other departments. So the smaller departments always had a double dipper, as we call them, in the profession to work another 10 or 15 years. So they had a steady pool of resource. Now pensions, the way they've come nationally or whatnot, not often the case. So we're competing with all the above. But in my opinion, we're very well postured to get our due. And recently, as I said, we had over 300 applicants, and 98 of them made the cut. Now, they have to go through the process, but we're not done. And that doesn't even count the certified police officers that we're looking at. And I will say this because it's already in discussion. We sat down with the police academy, and we've explored the possibility of having a West Palm Beach class only, okay, because we have numbers. And what would that do? We'll put and embed at least one of our trainers there that will teach them, again, 90% of police work the same. It's a 10% difference that distinguishes one department from another for whatever reason. We embed our trainers there, so they're teaching them the West Palm, the rules, the regs, and all the above. That'll cut about 4 to 6 weeks off our training time and working in partnership. So we're exploring things beyond what we've done to try to maximize while also minimizing the impact of the budget. So we're doing a lot. And again, I don't take the credit. Major Wiggs and her staff.
Okay. Commissioner Ward?
Thank you. Recently, I was made aware of a program that Gardens has because my father-in-law joined it. It's the Citizens, and I know we used to have Citizens on patrol, and we stopped that. But this is more elevated to they get certain training. They're able to take over if there's like a car accident that they can come and see until emergency gets there. Ticketing on the side, doing these other small things while you guys are handling the more important, the more life-threatening issues, I guess. So is that something that we've looked at, or a possibility that we can utilize some of our kind of similar to our retired to come in and help out?
I think we did it here before. Did we not have a COP program? I can tell you we have to examine it. It's a high liability piece. It really is. It requires a lot of training and whatnot. And the place I worked, we did have it, but it comes with an expense. But it's something we can look at in the future. But again, right now, with all the competing priorities I have, it's something that's way, way back in the book.
Commissioner Lambert, President Lambert? Okay.
No, I think we've answered all the questions that I had.
So I don't need to call your name anymore?
I'm good, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Warren?
Good.
Okay. Commissioner Fox?
I'm good.
Commissioner Ward?
I think this is my last question, I promise. So as far as going to the parking enforcement, I know that we have our parking division that operates and obviously goes out. Are we looking at changing that at all? Are we having technology? I'm just noticing, I've noticed issues when it comes to our officers actually responding and actually ticketing. Do we have a shortfall in equipment, in technology? And are we making sure, just given some of the commercialization that we're having along different corridors, we're getting more and more comments on the outskirts about parking enforcement, and our parking enforcement division is very small and they only work during the day, which, in the weekend, and people park, abnormally outside of those windows as well. So how are you guys responding to that? Are you at all?
If there's a parking issue, a police officer can take action. Right now, I think we're working to get some readers. We had some readers with a little technology glitch, like happens in every new technology, but yes, we're getting that for our officers so they can go ahead and do the same. But they have the ability to do it now. I think it requires paper. Am I mistaken? So they have the ability, but we're working on that. We have been.
Thank you.
One more round. All right, I'm not calling you anymore. Commissioner Warren, Commissioner Fox, Commissioner Ward. Okay. Thank you, Chief and Commissioner Warren. I did hear you, and I think, unless you all disagree with me, maybe it's a good idea if we try to do this at least quarterly. To give you all a chance to, and it does not replace the one-on-ones that the chief can have with you, but to do a group kind of conversation. So I'll work with scheduling that, and so we have more regular interactions with the chief as a group, and certainly that will supplement, the one-on-ones he has with you. But Chief, thank you so much. Thank you and your command staff again for what I think is a very enlightening discussion, and again, thank you for all the hard work that you're doing on behalf of the citizens of this great city. All right. I don't have anything under Mayor's Matters. So, Commissioners, you have anything for the good of the order? It's been a long meeting, productive meeting, some good food. Compliments to whoever ordered that food there. And so, if there is no other issues, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.